What's going on, guys? Wanted to hop up here and share something with you guys. This video that I'm going to talk about and, review right now live with you guys. This was brought to my attention by somebody, Mulatto gentleman. I believe it was in Discord, if I'm not mistaken. He shared this with me in Discord. And I think this is worthy enough to publicly talk about. So the name of the video I'm going to talk about, his title is kind of unusual. He puts here King Japower, that's his channel name. He says bang on Tariq Nasheed, FMA, Mixosphere. Interesting, Mixosphere. First time hearing that. He puts FBA, he puts Tragic Mulatto, and then Dan Calloway, Mixed Indians. What I know from Dan Calloway, I don't watch his material, but I've heard about him. He's like one of these kind of African American, like, quote unquote, aboriginal pretendian types. He's trying to draw the lineage and say, well, African Americans are actually native people. It's one of those. I say pretendian. So whatever, he put his name in a title. And but the whole emphasis here is he's going to talk about FBA but Tragic Mulatto. I saw a bit of this clip, like a couple minutes, to review it earlier today. I was like, okay, good. I think this is worthy enough to talk about. There's good material here. And he made this video like 2 years ago. Yeah, July 8th, 2022. Oh, no, my mistake. Coming up on almost 3 years. So, like, right about the time that I kind of started this channel and uploading content on this channel. So, yeah, this was brought to my attention by a gentleman. Shout out to him. Appreciate the share. And I think this is worthy enough. Before I play the clip and provide my commentary, I want to talk about what they have on the screen here, what he's sharing. It says Lucky Brown, Instant Brown Brightening Cream. In this like advertisement, this ad of this light brown woman, which would represent like a mulatto, right? And the thing is like this lightening cream and brightening cream and these cosmetics to make people lighter, that they've been having that on the market for a long time, right? Because that this advertisement they're showing with the animation, that's from like what, 100 years ago? Hundreds, yeah, it's over 100 years ago, like before 1920s. I'm thinking. I don't exactly know exactly the exact timestamp on it, but it's like what I'm saying is that that type of cosmetics have been on the market for a long time, selling those products to them. Because like I talked about mulatto soap, and shout out to Flowers telling Stewart, she brought that to my attention a couple years ago. She talked about, oh, there's something on the market, mulatto soap. I was like, damn, I had no idea. You go on Google, type it in, mulatto soap, you'll find it. They're actually selling this on the market today. It's like skin bleaching, skin lightening soap. And they literally call it mulatto soap. No cap. It's on the market right now. So what I'm saying is they've had these kind of cosmetic products for years. And they're trying to keep you guys out of the loop. But my job here as a community service is to report the news, to keep you guys informed. That's my job here. So let's check out this clip.
They're doing some history on the damn FMA, the mulattoes, the mules. Okay, I was in here.
He's saying the mulattoes, the mules, I'm going to pause quite a bit frequently. I know some of the people, they don't really like that I pause too much. My apologies, but I will pause just to protect myself with the copyright infringement. But and like I said, I titled the stream Ghetto Pro Black. I'm generic. I probably change it, whatever, and add the thumbnail and all that stuff. I just want to hop up here and kind of talk to you guys, talk to the world, and But yeah, even though the dude's got glasses on and shit, and it's like I listened to a couple minutes of it. I was like, he's just typical ghetto pro black. It's sad how like with the Afrocentric kind of consciousness, where they used to have more respect from people because they used to have scholars, people who were academics who went to the academy and universities, and they challenged the kind of literature that was already published. They challenged other scientists and philosophers, right? That used to be the thing. But with the social media now, you got ghetto fucking savages who jump on the internet and call themselves Kangs, like this guy, and other people, like even Tariq Fraud Sheed, he calls himself King Flex, right? They jump up here and they're very dumb, minimal lexicon, and they praise themselves, call themselves kangs and stuff. And like, this is what represents the kind of pro-black stuff today, which is very unfortunate, because you have honest, good, black people who are proud to be black. Maybe they'll call themselves pro-black, whatever, but are Afrocentric. As long as they don't have mulattoes in their mouth spreading conspiracies about us, I have nothing bad to say about them. If you're pro-white, you're pro-Asian, pro-Latino, whatever ethnic extraction you are, and you're pro your people, yourself, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people who are anti-mulatto, who spread conspiracies and rhetoric that paints us as being duplicitous and we have an agenda. We're here to undermine people. I am specifically targeting those individuals. Okay, um, I'm I'm basically going to counter rebuttal their arguments with my own. We have a voice out here, and they're going to try to silence you, right? Harass you, etc. It's too late. There's too many of us that are waking up now, and we're only growing. Just wanted to add that there. That the whole ghetto, like the ghetto people, took over the whole conscious movement with the pro-black stuff, because they used to have respect in the 80s and 90s. People used to kind of be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, he's pro-black, Afrocentric. He's proud of his African roots and reconnecting," and they had more respect, more integrity. But now, in even the past like 5 years, decade, it's been completely like derailed. Like the ghetto hood boogers have took over the whole conscious movement. It's very sad to witness, and the public, they allow it. The public, they engage with these people, give them subscribers and stuff like that. I'm only reviewing this because this is material for us. They're talking about mulattoes, so we're going to be talking about their ass. That's how it works now. Okay, let's continue on.
They're doing some history on them. Okay, Pretty Ricky, what they called you. Okay, hate you light skinned motherfucker. Sit your $5 ass down before I make change. Okay, pretty motherfuckers. See, so we always knew these people were some punks. Okay.
You seen that, talking about pretty motherfuckers? He's like, we always knew these peoples were some punks. What people? Who are the punks? The ones who allowed themselves to be slaves? Who are the punks? Who is he talking about? He's talking about you light skins who are always caping for your dark skinned brothers and sisters. I get a kick out of that. The light skins are always caping for these people, and they're out here showing their face publicly saying, you guys are some punks. It couldn't be me, man. It just, I cannot sympathize, cape, and support people who are against me. It couldn't be me, but I just get a kick out like the light skinned saviors. You got dudes like this out here calling you punks. And you're like, okay, yes, my dark skinned brother. You right. Fuck out of here.
Some softies, some wet behind the ears, Similac babies. Okay. Confused babies. We already knew. Okay. We ain't never got along with these people. We ain't ever gonna get along with these people.
Called you confused babies. And he also said, we never got along with you. We're never gonna get along with you. Let's listen to what else he has to say. Very interesting. The positioning he's taking is very interesting. That's the position he's going to rock with.
Okay. And so, family, again, like this video, because we got some slides I want to run through real quick and give y'all some of the stuff I was just in here looking over. So make sure you get this video a like. Now, I want to get into this little story about this, what they call the tragic mulatto. Okay, Lydia Marie. So Lydia Marie is a child introduced in literature, literary character. Okay, that we'll call the tragic mulatto. Okay, in two short stories, the quadroons of 1842 and slavery, Pleasant Homes in 1843.
So, right, he's reading off what you guys can all see on the screen here, this image. Let's continue on.
She portrayed this light-skinned woman as the offspring of a white slaveholder and his black female slave. This mulatto life was tragic. Okay, she was ignorant of both her mother's race and her own. Okay.
Now, I just want to pause to stop there. This whole idea, like they're blaming this individual, this mulatto, saying, whoever wrote this, I got to do more research and look into the text here, saying that she was ignorant of both her mother's race and her Her mother's race was black. What about her own? Well, yeah, she's mulatto race. And they've done everything they can to deny mulattoes a sense of identity. That's why there's constant attack. Whenever you are proud to be biracial, you post a video or anywhere on social media, they jump in there on the attack, right? And because all this is, it's to dissuade you from embracing who you really are, right? Oh, you're confused, you just don't know. And then the the black slave will sit there and tell you, well, you just wait. When you get pulled over by the police, the white man, my master, he gonna let you know you one of us. You black. See, it's like this whole operation they have going on, both of them. It's like you guys got to challenge them and break away from that. And then they pull references from history here, and they're trying to throw this lady under the bus. Or if it's a fictional character, I don't know. Um, but saying, oh, she doesn't have knowledge of her own race. Well, yeah, because they denied mulatto's personhood. And you catch a lot of hell out here in society when you stand on business and you're proud of who you are. I know this because I'm personally going through some shit off this YouTube, off this whole, regardless of the social media branding, what I got going on here, talking to you guys, all this stuff. Outside of this, what I got going on in my own personal situation, I'm facing similar challenges. And it's because I'm a mulatto man and I got fucking balls, right? And I do not tolerate disrespect, and I am not a subordinate. And there's another man, I believe the same man who kind of shared this clip with me. We talked, and he's kind of going through some similar situation as well. So it happens to a lot of us, especially the men. So yeah, let's continue on with this.
Cool, about right there. Okay, she was ignorant of both her mother's race and her own. She believed herself to be white and free. See, they see themselves as white. Okay, see, let's see.
Well, they're definitely whiter than your black ass. That's 100. And the thing is, they are partially white. It's part of their heritage. So it's like they're just as white as they are black. Like, and even a reference here where it's like white slaveholder father and black female slave, right, mother, where it's like, well, she's just as black as she is white. So how is it like they're trying to frame it where it's like they want to make her seem like she's weird or abnormal or quote unquote confused. That's what the racists will tell you. For her to identify as white when it's like she looks goofy if she identifies as black and she has a black father or she has a white father and she dual heritage. Let's say this. It's like if she, how is it acceptable if she just identifies as black and she has a white parent? But these people, they're going to use their white slave masters, Jim Crow laws and say, well, according to the law, well, when the police pull you over, they always go back to their default setting. Always go back to the same about 15 Blackistan gaslighting tactics. They're always going to go back and resort to their default, to their white massa, right? Who they're doing everything they can, yearning for the approval of their white massa. And see, when you deal with these people, these racist blacks, it's always projection with them because they're always going to flip it and say, oh, well, you just want to be white. See, because you can't. And then they got their light skinned saviors, that jump up in here and they spew out the same rhetoric as the dark skinned supremacists. That's the most pathetic part. It's like, please, why are you over here? You already know what time it is. You've heard enough of me. And you still come over here with the weak shit. You can get a couple views, a couple likes, a couple subscribers, and all that, but we're still going to be over here. The mulattoes are going to be pushing forward. I'm not special. I'm not special. It's about the people coming up after me who are going to continue the message. This is what it's all about. Let's continue on.
If the white people see y'all as white, okay? Now, she saw herself, she believed herself to be white and free. Her heart was pure. Her manners was impeccable, okay? Her language was polished. And her face was beautiful, aka white, okay? Her father died.
Now, he added that in there because he's insecure. You listen to him, his talk, how he talks, etc. He said, like, her face beautiful, and he said, aka white. No, it's just she has the averageness, the symmetry, the facial symmetry. A lot of mulattoes have the averageness. There's other people who are scholars and academics who can go into more detail of their studies and observation within that, but it has to do with the facial symmetry. The best example I use for that, for Mulatto, is Denise Kilholtz. I've talked about her many times on this channel, and she's a Dutch mulatto in the Netherlands, Holland, and it's crazy because she's a fighter, she's a warrior, and so she's getting punched in the face, she's punching people in the face, she's a legit warrior, this woman. But her face is so beautiful, very beautiful face, and just the symmetry, right? The averageness, and that's the blend. Because even with Denise Kilholtz, her father is a Anglo Dutchman, white Dutchman, and her mother is a black woman. I forgot exactly what country, but it was like a former Dutch colony. And but yeah, so she represents that averageness, the facial symmetry, like this, pristine mulatto of what I kind of promote, what I share with you guys, the public. But I use her as an example. Or I promote her as an example. I'm not using anybody. I'm promoting her as an example, Denise Kilholtz, as a representation of the averageness, is what a gentleman quoted, stating as far as the facial symmetry. But this guy's thrown in there like it's just, oh, white, white. No, the lady Denise Kilholtz, clearly her skin tone, brown, her hair, curly texture, she represents the mulatto aesthetic. It's the blend of European and African. And there's many other people we can reference as well. You guys could even reference males as well. Okay. Obviously a guy like me, I'm gonna reference the females. But I just want to point that out there because this guy's talking about quote unquote white. But when they say beautiful face, they're talking white. He's adding it in there. That's his own insecurity speaking. Let me continue on.
Her Negro blood discovered. When her father died, she discovered her Negro blood. Whoever wrote this need writing skills. She she was
He said whoever wrote this need writing skills. When did they write this? That dude clearly needs speaking skills. That's why I titled it Ghetto Pro Black. And they're challenging what Tariq Nasheed, and he's upset. He's going to get into it later on. I'm going to share. I'm going to play the whole thing. It's only like less than 20-minute clip. He's mad because Tariq Nasheed, who's pro-black, who's married to a mulatto. Well, most of you scammers, that's how it is. Professor Grift, you got the Phil Advice Show. These guys got large followings, large platforms, right? Phil Advice Show is married to a Mexican. Tariq Nasheed, FBA guy, is married to a mulatto. Yeah, your guys are so pro-black, but you can't find black women to commit to and have a family with. But they're able to basically sucker and grift off these like insecure black people. That's the crazy part.
remained to slavery, reprimanded to slavery, deserted by her white lover, and died a victim of slavery and white male violence. Okay.
So even with this, like I'm coming to the epiphany at the moment where it's like the movie with Halle Berry, Queen, right? Like the storyline they're playing, I don't even know if this is a factual, true evidence of a real scenario. I have to clearly do more research into that, but it kind of sounds like the script of what happened with the Queen movie with Halle Berry, where her whole life was kind of tragic, right? From beginning to end. It's kind of sad to watch, but there's a lot of useful information in that film, or that there was a television kind of miniseries where someone like me, can take that. I've promoted it. I shared it on this channel, my other channel for sure, Mulatto History channel. There's so much good information that came from that series. And I kind of think that this whole article he's reading, that story, is based kind of, they used the Queen, miniseries. Their whole the whole narration is based off this. It sounds like it, right? Whatever. Let me continue on.
Okay, so let me keep going. Y'all like this video? We talk about the mixosphere. Okay, the mixosphere. Let's go.
What is the mixosphere? What is that? I'm interested to know. What is this mixosphere you speak of? Because the way I see it today, right now, the way I've seen it for a couple years, even from the beginning, I'll be honest with you. Like when I hear mixed, I just think black. Like There's a lot of black people who just they want to be something else. Like they call themselves Indians, they call themselves Egyptians, and they even conflate it where it's like if they have admixture, if they have like, 10% non-black, non-African, they'll cling on to that and claim that and say that they're like MGM or they're mixed or something. It's like I Ben knew this for a long time. You look at someone like me, I have a white mom, you know, and then I'm looking at someone who's like, well, I'm mixed or whatever, and they're like, they got like 15%, non-black. It's just like, okay. Yeah. This is why I push forward with the whole mulatto stuff. And you know what? It's done favors. Shout out to the lady, the mixed lens, and she created the petition. I shared it. I'm gonna share it more. And this lady, the mulatto woman, embraces the mulatto designation. I knew this from day one. All I had to do was keep on pushing, keep on making content, destigmatizing the word mulatto. These men and these women, they are going to embrace this. I already knew that. I knew that all it takes is one voice, just one of you guys, to have this level of consistency, continue to push forward, and it's eventually the public is going to have to accept it. Even for me, I shared this on my other stream. There's a guy who, tried to clout chase off of me for a couple years and stuff. And it's like this guy was so adamantly against the word mulatto, hated the word mulatto, but now he's publicly, proudly calling himself a mulatto. Like, what happened? How did that shift occur? I got like recordings, your videos where you're hating the word mulatto. You hate mulatto consciousness. You hate the term mulatto. But now today, May 18th, 2025, like you're proudly claiming yourself to be mulatto. It's very interesting. But so what I'm saying is that my work has been effective. The destigmatization of the word mulatto has been effective. And that's what, for me, brings me great joy when people are boldly, proudly claiming to be mulatto. I know I've done a good job.
The FMAs. So right here, let's go right here. Okay, a century later, literacy and cinematic portrayals of the tragic mulatto empathizes her personal pathological self-hatred and depression, alcoholism, and sexual perversion and suicide. See, the mother be talking about.
Now, I want to add emphasis here. The whole concept of tragic mulatto, because he's reading from that article there, the emphasis there is on females. Because I've never been called tragic mulatto. Not that I know of, at least like to my face or a reply in a comment. It's usually if someone, whatever, they talk shit behind, on Shit Stick Alley or one of these other fruity pro whack pages or whatever. I don't know. I'm not reading their stuff, just, so I don't know. But people tell me. Um, So the tragic mulatto thing, that's primarily like targeted towards the women. And you have to understand with these Afrocentrics and pro wax, and even with the Anglos, like the males, they're always going to target female populations. It's easier because if they can program the females, they can bastardize them, sire offspring, and neutralize the male population. So they've always been more focused on getting access and control and influence over the females. This is what you light skinned guys. You talk about the dark skins being your brother and sister and all you light skins, and then this guy's calling you punks and shit. To me, because there's a difference. You're a mulatto man, you're a biracial man. There is a difference between a biracial mulatto man and a light skinned African American man. If the light skinned African American man identifies as mulatto, then that's a whole nother story. If you identify, but if you don't, I mean, and you look at what these people are doing, where they're talking, they're calling you punks. They're trying to destroy your image every day. This video was 3 years old, guys, but they're doing this today. There's memes all over the damn place. YouTube, TikTok, X. It doesn't matter where you open, whatever app you open up on social media. They're slandering your name, trying to tarnish your sexual marketplace value. And yeah. Let's continue on with this.
Black people commit suicide, that be they ass. See, they got depression, alcoholism, sexual perversion, suicide attempts being the most common, okay, of these mulattoes. See, that's why you can't have these mulatto babies.
You see this guy, I mean, is he's talking all about the mulattoes now, right? It's like sexual perversion. I mean, they can't talk, they can't talk. There's certain demographics. I don't want to get all into it, but you know, I mean, yeah, white people and black people, they can't talk about any of that stuff as far as sexual perversion. Okay, they really can't. I mean, black Americans can't talk about it. If they're from Africa, then they can. I'm not talking about them because they actually have strict laws on stuff like homosexuality. They have laws on like bestiality and all these other perversions. Like they have laws where that's against the law, illegal, unacceptable in their society. These are African societies. So I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about those black people. So I'm saying like with African Americans, where you have, like race play or bucks, the cuckoldry, you have these categories within adult film that caters to the black and white crowd. What I'm saying is these two groups, they can't even mention like sexual perversion when they're involved in the most debaucherous shit out here. Let's be clear. But this guy here is trying to pin that label on mulattoes, you see. And as far as he's talking about the self-deletion here, self-deletion or alcoholism, I mean, other demographics can claim that more than us. But he's like, it said self deletion. Actually, white males have the highest rates of that, not mulattoes. It's actually white males. And then it says self hatred, depression. Depression is very, how can you actually grasp that? And how can you measure it? That's the thing with the depression. And people go through phases of it. So there's not really, they're trying to just put all these kind of stigmatizing stereotypes on us that we suffer all this stuff, which we all know is a damn lie. Just my job here is to give you guys a voice to know we have a voice. People spread lies and rhetoric and conspiracies about us. We're going to challenge it. Okay. With your guys' support, I'm nobody special. I'm nothing. All of this whole operation, it is dependent on your support. This is a community. This is a mulatto community. Your support is everything here. Okay.
Is the most suicide attempts are the most common. If the light enough, if they're light enough to pass as white as she was, as she did, but passes led to a deeper self-longing. Okay.
He didn't even pronounce the word accurately, which is typical. That's why I named the stream Ghetto Pro Black. It says, but passing led to deeper self-loathing. She pitied or despised blacks and the blackness in herself. Who even knows if this is accurate? This is like fictional stories, narrations they write to demonize mulattoes. They have all of these agendas and narrations they have to paint mulattoes as duplicitous, insidious, nefarious. They've been doing this for over a century to stigmatize mulattoes, to neutralize mulattoes, take away our birthright, make it so we can't access wealth and capital from our European family, our white parents or grandparents, etc. There's a whole agenda attached to that, and they've empowered these Bantus to get super bold to partake in this marginalization. How many other mulattoes out here are talking about this? I mean, these people, they're on the take, spreading all these conspiracies and tarnishing your name out here. This is unacceptable. I have to be the bad guy because I got to challenge this shit. This is literally my destiny. Let's continue on.
Or she pitied desperate blacks and the blackness, her black. She wanted to be black. She wanted to explore on how she could be black. You see what I'm saying? In her self-hatred, she
Ghetto Pro Black. It's funny because he was kind of talking shit about the person who wrote the article, but he can't even read. And he's got glasses on and he still can't read, Yeah, I have vision insurance, and I had I haven't went to the eye doctor. Just a side note, an optometrist in like years. I went to an optometrist a couple weeks ago. Perfect vision, no glasses, none of that stuff. But just I want to get a checkup to see how my eyes are looking, and I'm paying for the insurance, but I got to cancel it pretty soon once the term policy is up. But because it's a wasted expense. But yeah, that was like I just got the insurance so I can just get this test and good vision, which I already know, but haven't gotten an exam in a long time. But what I'm saying is reference to this guy. This guy has fucking glasses on and he still can't read. So it's not a vision issue with this character. It's an intellect issue. What I hate is with these pro waxes, they try to act smart. They try to act sophisticated. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're saying. You're a blithering idiot. But then they oftentimes what they do is they use conspiracies to supplement their lack of intellect and rationale and understanding. That's what you see often with these pro wax or Afrocentric. They use a lot of conspiracies. And all that is to cover up the fact that a lot of them are dumb. They're dense. They're begging their white massa. Then they want to project that onto you, the mulatto. But now the mulatto's here clapping back. This is only the beginning.
Hated or feared whites, yet blackness in her, yet the blackness in herself. She hated and feared whites, yet desperately sought their approval. In the race-based society, the tragic mulatto found peace and only death.
Now, who do you think wrote this article? It had to be a black person. Like I said, I got to do the back. I got to look into the notes and see who actually wrote this article because it sounds very black-centered, Afrocentric. The way that they're painting it in a race-based society, right? The tragic mulatto found peace only in death. She invoked pity or scorn, not sympathy. Remember, I want to add emphasis here because when they paint the tragic mulatto, they're not talking about the men. They're always most certainly talking about females and how the female can be influenced by society. And what we see today in 2025 and even the past, decade or more is there's typically a pathway for them into blackness, but they have to be a baby mama. There's a ritual they go through. Okay. If they want acceptance to be black, they have to produce black kids. You can call them griffs. Okay. A griff for me, a griff is black. I know you people are going to push back. That's fine because the people who are pushing back, they're not even mulatto. So I really don't care, honestly. But respectfully, if you're 75% black or 80% black, you're just black. You have some admixture. Okay. And so what they want is that's the whole process of being absorbed. So that's the pathway to blackness. They're looking at this mulatto woman and they see her children, her offspring are darker than her. They're like, okay, she's been absorbed. So she's safe. She's a part of the group. They've neutralized her. So that is, in fact, they offer that as a pathway to blackness for the females. The males, it could be a different story, but that's why even with the article, like, yeah, the way they framed it as she, the female, she invoked pity and scorn, not sympathy. And interesting stuff. Let's continue on.
She invoked pity or scorn, sympathy, Sterling Brown. And so they don't care about where their future gonna be. Cause they don't got no future anyways. Cause the word mulatto means mule. A mule is a mixed breed, okay, between what is it, a horse?
He said, a mule is between a horse and a donkey, but a mulatto is not. A mulatto is an individual that has a European parent and an African parent, or both of their parents are mulatto. That's what a mulatto is. So you can keep bringing up this little donkey and reference and shit. And this guy here is sitting about, oh, well, they have no future. Mulattoes have a future. I'm living proof of that. Me and others, many others, that mulattoes who are way more successful than me. I'm not special. I'm just here to give people a voice. But we have a future. and we can procreate with each other and create families, create unions, create communities with each other, as other mulattoes have done. And I love to promote them when I see them. So don't let this dummy savage, with the goofy and his like the rhetoric he's pushing here, talking about they have no future and stuff like that. Let me rewind that because it's just the very blasphemous to even make that assertion
about where their future gonna be, cause they don't got no future anyway.
He's saying where their future gonna be because they ain't got no future anyway. Well, what we know is we see a lot of mulattoes, if they're black identified, yeah, their future is to be absorbed in the blackness. That's their whole goal is, oh, I don't like light skins. I want a dark skinned guy. I want my kids to be dark skinned, so they can be basically absorbed in the black community. Yeah, that's their future. Their future is to be reabsorbed into the black body politic. Hey, good for them. I mean, I hope they find happiness. Good for them. It's a tragedy when they go that route and then they become biracial baby mamas, and then they're still like trying to find a space within like the mixed conversation. And then like they're baby mamas and you got black kids. I know you call them grips, but they're black. And it's like you chose the route. You wanted to be black. You found the darkest guy you can get, you want to be accepted by that group, but the group still doesn't accept you. And it's like, but then you come over here to what we're doing. And it's just, I'm sitting there like, what? You kind of already chose what the whole situation was. Like, why do you have an issue with me? I'm nobody special. I'm just a random dude on the internet with a microphone and an internet connection. That's it. And yeah, I get a kick out of it. Some of these people you run into on social media, and I was talking to someone behind the scenes too. It's like you can run into some amazing people with what I've been doing here, like meeting Beatrice in Brazil. Had the time of my life with that woman in Brazil, even Afro-European Monica in England. And I meet some amazing people with this YouTube channel. And even just people I even haven't met physically, but just some of you, the people here in the comments, whatever, you guys, I'm connecting with you guys. Like, that's amazing. We can develop a community out of this. And it's amazing to meet you people and connect with you guys. But on the flip side of that, you run into some horrible people where it's like, oh my God, if I've never done, didn't even like blab my mouth on this channel, I wouldn't even have ran into some of these characters, which don't have any effect off the internet. I mean, they might, yeah, it's just you run into really good people and then you run to some scumbags. But for me, luckily for me, looking at it and the balance of it all, it's like I've met more good than bad. And this is what kind of encourages me, where I've met way more good. Like the residuals are way more beneficial than some of the negative aspects of it. Let me continue on with this.
Wait, because the word mulatto means mule. A mule is a mixed breed, okay, between what is it, a horse and a goat or something like that. And that create a mule. And a mule is sterile. Okay, so these people gonna have a low sperm count, a low birth rate.
He's not providing any stats or statistics with that. And the same thing with the white nationalists, right? Because he's basically the mirror image reverse of the white racist. He's a black racist. The white racist will say, well, you have identity issues. And they both agree on that. The black racist and the white racist, they both agree, well, the mulattoes are going to have identity issues. But the white racists push more the health issues. That's what they push. Well, you have a hard time getting a bone marrow transplant, right? They push that. But this guy, you can hear his rhetoric. He's kind of spouting the same shit. He's sitting there saying you have low sperm count. Like, where the hell is the evidence of that to suggest that? I've never heard of that once in my life. This guy's just making up shit. Where's the data and statistics to provide evidence to support that? I've never heard of this once in my life. Low sperm count. Really? I am potent as fuck. I'm ready to do damage out here. Just as a side note, this guy's full of shit. And they spread this stuff to damage our reputation and our marketplace value out here. No, if a mulatto man connects and hooks up with a mulatto female, they will produce mulatto children, period. And guys like that, that's what they ultimately fear. We're going to break away from their ass and leave them in the dust where we found them. Because let's be real, a lot of these mulattoes, especially if you got a white mom, you're a biracial white mom, you just, your standard mulatto, you felt sorry for these people. You felt pity. You want to connect with them. It wasn't because the whites, quote unquote, rejected you, because that's what they'll push is that, well, you only come around the blacks because the whites rejected you. I was never rejected by these people. All these whites from childhood I grew up with, most of all of them I'm still in contact with. They're still like friends on social media and all this stuff. Like we're still friends. So I was never rejected by any of these people. But that's the rhetoric that a lot of the black races will push. You only come around us because the whites don't like you. I was like, I was doing your ass a favor associating with you savages. How ungrateful can you be to spit in our face and to push us to the side? I'm like, damn, okay, really? That's how you feel about us? Okay, that's good to know. My job is to inform these other mulattoes. Better wake up and smell the coffee. Find a sense of community, develop some cohesion. You don't have to like me. I know I ruffle a lot of feathers. A lot of people don't like me. That's cool. But there's other people out here you can connect with. If you like their message better, you think it's more suitable for you, be my guest.
They're not going to be able to reproduce at a high enough rate, okay? Where they can.
Saying they can reproduce at a high enough rate. The thing is, once we have these mulatto enclaves, and once we have mulatto pockets, demographic pockets, like when I was living in Las Vegas, I already saw that. I'm from California, Southern California. I already saw that back then before I even developed this consciousness, before I had a vocabulary established to understand and to basically interpret what I was seeing around me. I already saw mulatto coupling, mulatto pairings. And by the time I had my epiphany moment and started to really structure my identity and around this mulatto consciousness, when I was living in Las Vegas, I really started to see it out there with the younger people. You see the older people too, but yeah, the younger people. I was like, okay, yeah, this mulatto woman, this mixed race chick, this biracial chick, she likes this mixed race biracial man. I saw it too frequently. I saw it so frequently in Las Vegas, Nevada, to where I already knew this is already happening. This is already happening. You're going to have that more in a lot of other pockets throughout the nation, whether in California, New York, Florida, it doesn't matter. You're going to have more of that. It's inevitable. Once these mulattoes have access to this information, they develop a sense of cohesion. They realize it's okay for them to be themselves. They don't have to fit in and try to be absorbed and give everyone else their expertise. And once these mulattoes develop that, it's going to happen. You're going to see them come together. So this guy, and he's against that. He's afraid of that. That's why he's going to spread this rhetoric. Because the goal for him is he wants you guys to basically just disappear. But their kind of soft, diplomatic position to do that, like what's his name, Dr. Umar Johnson, they want you to just marry black and be black so you can be absorbed into them, right? They don't want you guys getting together, create your own communities, your own groups. They look at it as opposition. I mean, they're perfectly fine with the Russian army being their next door neighbor. Because remember, these black supremacists, they're just like the white supremacists. So they're perfectly okay with you know, they're perfectly okay. You name it. Whatever, militia or whatever aggressive military force, they're perfectly okay with those people coexisting and forming families. It's when they see mulattoes, they look at you as the ultimate threat and the ultimate competition to dark skin African supremacy. This is the rhetoric they push in their circles. I saw someone in the chat, I think it was the Owl Show, reference to Chancellor Williams, the destruction of black civilization. They literally call it the Black Bible in their circles. This is what they push, is anti-mulatto rhetoric. They're cool with everyone else. Chicanos, the Chinese, like I said, the Russians, the Zionists. They're friends with all those people, all these black races. It's the mulattoes that they have an issue with. It's who they fear. And they don't want you guys to collectivize and develop your own groups, your own spaces, your own communities, your own families. This is what they're against. And they, trust me, they will use their white massa or vice versa, because that's really how it is. The white massa will use them. They will call on their white massa to put you in your place, right? when the police pull you over, they gonna let you know you just like one of us, right? They will always call on their massa to try to regulate you and put you in your place. This is how it goes.
It's sustained. So what they gonna see? So what they gonna have to do? They want approval for their white zaddy. You just seen it. They want approval, but
We didn't just seen nothing. He's like, you just seen, we just seen, as if this is actually factual. This is like a fictitious, article, fictitious novel. There's no way to even authenticate if this is accurate. I don't know. You guys could tell me. I know this is like a popular article. This is like a hit piece. Like they've been doing this for, like you said, over 100 years, talking shit about mulattoes for 100 years, spreading propaganda to destroy our confidence, destroy our sense of self, attack our identity. They haven't really, they've been effective to a degree. They have a lot of these dumbass MGMs or whatever, light skinned blacks, and they think they're fucking black, because they identified as black for so long. My whole thing is that's okay. If you guys want to go that route, have fun over there. Over here, we're mulatto identified. I just don't like the fact that I see some of them are trying to like co-opt the mulatto identity. It's like, bitch, get the fuck out of here, man. You guys are only trying to call yourselves mulattoes now because the biracials made it poppin'. Because the biracials were developing social media, proudly claiming mulatto and a mulatto history and achievements. Now they want to claim this shit now. You motherfuckers were just trying to be black the past 100 years, and they want to talk shit on biracials. It's so hilarious, you know, none of you people were claiming none of this mulatto shit until my bald headed ass ran up here, started talking shit. None of you motherfuckers were talking this mulatto stuff. That's why I find it hilarious now. You want to run over here and be like, well, I'm actually the real mulatto. I got a light skinned grandma, a light skinned aunt. I don't give a fuck what you got. You've been black, you're 50, 40, 30, whatever plus years you've been around here. Now that you've seen me making it poppin', people are tuning in, people are being inspired. Now you want to claim this mulatto shit? Fuck out of here. Let's continue on.
You're not gonna be approved as white. Y'all like this video? All right, let me go right here. This, I won't read not the whole thing, but I want to show y'all that all that this is. It buffers on ism. This article examines variations in societal position.
That's what I'm saying, this abstract. Let me read it because this guy's a buffoon, okay? This article examines variation in the social position of mixed race populations by exploiting county level variation in the degree of occupational differentiation between blacks and mulattoes in the 1880 US Census. All the way in the 1880s, guys. What are we, 2025? How long ago is that? That's about, 145 years ago? They've been calculating mulattoes in the census for centuries in the United States. Even back here, they have between blacks and mulattoes. So if mulattoes have always been seen as quote unquote black, why are they differentiating the difference here between the two categories? Because mulattoes are not black. Historically, we've always been seen different. Today, we are seen as different. They see somebody like a Lauryn Hill or Viola Davis or Brandy, you take your pick, Kelly Rowland, doesn't matter. And you see someone like a Zendaya, someone like a Meghan Markle, they're not the same. Mulattas and blacks are not the same. This has been the case for centuries. This is nothing new here. I'm just here to add clarity for you people. So looking at this, who even knows is abstract if this article is even accurate. The guy they put here, the article examines variation in social position of mixed race populations by exploiting county level variation. Yeah, it's not even accurate from what I'm seeing. The role of the mixed race category is either a buffer class, and that's Afrocentric language, or a status threat dependent on a class composition of whites. Black/mulatto occupational differentiation was greatest where whites had high occupational prestige and thus little to fear from mulatto group. Furthermore, differentiation increased the risk of lynching where whites had relatively low status and decreased the risk of lynching where whites had high status. Okay, now let's listen to this buffoon here speak.
Of mixed race populations by exploiting county level variations in degrees of occupation differences between blacks and mulattoes in the 1880s. U.S. Census uh, the role of the mixed race category as either a buffer zone class. A buffer zone class. Okay?
Now, nowhere in the text here, the syntax, anywhere, it says zone. He added that and threw that in there. It says quote unquote buffer class. There is no zone. you know, he just made it up and he's pausing here because didn't I already add emphasis when I said quote unquote buffer class? That's what the Afrocentrics put. Of course. Let's listen to what this buffoon has to say because the whole buffer, that's why I'm thinking this whole article was written by a black Afrocentric because they're painting mulattoes as bad. I mean, we know the whites do that, and on X, they have straight up Nazis, and their whole thing with their slander for mulattoes, they're upset mainly the white nationalists because white women are going out of their way creating mulattoes, and they're really upset with that. They look at it as that is weakening their population. So that's the angle they're coming from. But these blacks out here, they're hating on all of us, the men and the women. Vice versa, doesn't matter. Like even this guy, the article supposedly Tragic Mulatto is talking about a female. This guy doesn't give a shit. That's why I'm saying like I get a kick out of it when I see some of the women who want to be black and they have black kids, or I'm sorry, griffs, whatever, they're black. And it's like, okay, that's fine. You chose that route. You wanted to be black. That's cool. It's not my problem. I don't care. But then you come over to my channel, you come over to my social media, and you think this is like a place that's gonna like uplift you and all. It's like, I think you're in the wrong spot. Because then you got guys like this who are haters, who hate all of us, and you never challenge them. I never see them challenge them. No, they want you to challenge them. They want you to be a unpaid mercenary, an unpaid bodyguard. They want to try to use you as this guy to fight their battles for them. It's like you're kind of like Cassie, okay? You chose the position you wanted. You wanted to fit in with them. You wanted to be worshipped, okay? You got your wish. Now you're a baby mama. And I don't like what do you expect from me?
Or the statute of threats depended on the class. Compositions of whites, blacks, and mulattoes, occupational differences was greatest, where the whites had high occupational prestige and thus a little to fear from the mulatto group. Furthermore, the differences increase the risk of lynching, where whites had relatively low stature, and decreased risk of lynching, where whites had relatively high stature. So, did y'all know where that first article I showed y'all, they
The first article, this is the same article. This is the abstract. What the hell is he talking about?
had damn cake soap, bleaching cream in the 1800s?
And I said that before I even played this clip. I said the fact is that they call it cake soap. They've had these bleaching creams and these cosmetics for years. See, like shout out to Flowers telling Stuart, my biggest supporter here. It's like she's the one who brought that to my attention. She always shares historical information with me. That's why I'm so honored and blessed and grateful for her to be around. Where it's like, yeah, she shares this stuff. She's the one who told me about mulatto soap. I had no idea. I could have typed it up and did some research on the internet. But there's so much other stuff going on in the world, right? And but she brought that to my attention. She does a lot of research. She's essentially a researcher. I don't know if she calls herself that, but I consider her to be a researcher because she shares so much stuff with me, and she brought that to my attention. Mulatto soap. I was like, holy shit. They literally got soap, skin bleaching cream out here, and that's the name of it, mulatto soap. You guys go do a Google search, type in or Google, put in mulatto soap. They're actually selling this stuff on the market today. It's a product you can buy. But what I'm saying is that, and when I started out this stream, is that they've been having these products on the market for over 100 years. They've been having this for a long time. And who are they selling that stuff to? They're not selling it to mulattoes. We're already light skinned. What the hell? They're not selling it to whites. They're not trying to get lighter. They're selling it to the dark skinned people, selling it to them. That's what this guy has to live with, that reality, to know that it's his own people who have issues. It's not us. But he's going to project it onto us and paint us in a bad light. That's this black supremacy that they have a warped worldview. These black racists, they have a warped worldview where they think they're very moral and righteous, and like their racism, they feel like they're basically exonerated of any of any wrongdoing. They feel like they're virtuous in what they're doing, and they're racist. They're anti-mulatto, and they never get any pushback. The mulattoes, most of the ones I see, if they're in the Afrocentric spaces, they're just punks to blacks. They let them talk shit and don't question them. Because then they got a guy like me. If you challenge them, what's the first thing they say? Use Oasis, right? They got their biracial baby mama on deck to call you a racist, right? That's the first thing they deploy, is their leftovers, right? Let's continue on.
Okay, some of our people mind was messed up. See, we knew our place. See, the mixed mulattoes still don't know their place. They running back and forth on the fence ass niggas. You see what?
That's the thing. On the fence ass nigga. You ain't dealing with the on the fence ass nigga. We're in our place, and we're right here challenging your ass. The pussy ass mulattoes, they're going to be hiding behind their little avatar, little scaredy cats. They'll never be out here dictating policy. Okay, hiding. Yeah, they don't make any rules or decisions. Okay, little scaredy cats. They're afraid they're going to lose their little job and all this stuff. Yeah, they're not the ones. They don't have any influence. And for me, a guy like me sitting here talking, we're not on the fence. The people that I try to curate over here, we're not on the fence about anything. We know our position. We are the mulattoes. We're growing. We are the future, the way I see it. There's no going back. We're not on the fence. Yeah, see, we equally challenge the Anglos and the Bantus over here. And we see how your rhetoric is basically a mirror of the Anglos. Same exact rhetoric, verbatim. They just switch up the sources where they get their information. They push the destruction of black civilization, mulatto problem conspiracies, where the Anglos push the Jewish question, Mein Kampf conspiracies, and the Kalergi plan conspiracies. Right? So the information's basically the same in regards to how they fear the rising mulatto class, but they look at us as a destruction to them and their group. But their logic is very flawed. Like the way they're pushing the rhetoric, just us merely existing to them, a lot of them, they look at it as a threat. We're here to challenge them. I'm not on the fence. That's the whole point I'm making right here. We're not on the fence. We see it for what it is. This is the time now. This is the time now. We're here. You're going to try to silence us and all this. Our voices are growing. So we're not on the fence over here. You got the wrong one. He can pull this crap with some of the dummy idiots who want to be baby mamas to him. Okay, go talk to them. They're not even going to make the cut over here. We don't want them over here. We're going to curate them. We're going to get them up out of here. I mean, I look at my block list and the people I got to kind of, excommunicate and all this stuff. Like, yeah, you get uppity. That's on all the platforms. You get out of line, you get out of pocket, whatever. You're sucking off Bantus. Like, I don't know. If you have an issue with me, you're in the wrong spot. You're in the wrong spot. This is full mulatto autonomy over here. So we're not on the fence over here. That's what I'm saying. We already know what time it is.
You know what I'm saying? They running back and forth, see? And so, well,
running back and forth, and I just mentioned that we challenge the whites and we challenge the blacks in their racist rhetoric that's anti-mulatto. On this channel, if you go to the biracial baby mama channel, they're not saying shit about them whites. Of course not. They're just trying to fit in underneath the blacks. They're baby mamas, right? They want you to do all the work for them. They sit back and take credit for it. They're not challenging these Anglos on X and not straight up fucking Nazis and shit. They're not these, no, these other people, they're not challenging all that shit. They will challenge them only on behalf of blacks because they have backing. They have numbers and a backing of blacks. That's why you see these mulattoes like a Colin Kaepernick or you name it. These mulattoes who talk about white supremacy and shit. Yeah, because they know they got the backing of blacks. But what about a guy like me who doesn't have the backing of blacks? You got minimal mulatto support, but I have the dedicated mulattoes. I have the core mulattoes who are affirm their identity. And that's all that matters to me is I have the mulattoes. Not no ownership. I'm not saying it in that sense, but I'm saying that the how I want to frame this, where it's like the people who are conscious, who come to that realization of who they are, they're proud, and they affirm the self-affirming mulattoes. I have their influence in a sense. I'll say that just as a media kind of quote unquote personality, no ownership. Just mentioning that, like, because like these mulattoes who challenge white supremacy, yeah, they got blacks on their side. I don't have that support and I'm not looking for it. I'm going to challenge both of you because I see these racist blacks. They have the backing of their Anglo masters. So when you see me, I challenge the white racist, I challenge the black racist. Like, this is a fully mulatto operation. This is, as you look at the numbers, this is it. We're not out here trying to kiss black ass to get them to back us up and shit. No, we're holding our own over here. We see you guys talking about us, and yeah, we're responding now. So now what's up? Let me continue on.
Whites had, lower class whites. The mulatto was more chances of getting lynched. Where it was higher class whites up north, a lot of these light skinned blacks and mixed race blacks ran up north. Okay.
You see how he lays the distinction out there? He said light skinned blacks and mixed race, not the same. And I've been saying that from day one, but trust me, they hate me for that. They want me to blur the lines so everybody can just jump up in here. No, no. I encourage people to create their own channels, create their own social media, create their own spaces. Go do that. It's just like people think they can play mulattoes. That's the funny thing. I laugh. I'm like, psh, fuck, I'm one dude. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna travel this whole planet. My goal and destiny, travel the whole planet, connect with people. And I'm fulfilling my destiny, my dream. And I'm sitting here like I see some of these people on the internet, they run up in here thinking like they're gonna like crowbar their way into this shit. Like, you know, this is a mulatto centered space. Okay. The mulattoes are pedestalized and put at the forefront and honored in this space that I created. Unapologetically, I might add. And then some people feel left out and they get upset or butthurt because see, they're used to punking mulattoes. They're used to sitting here with these blacks thinking they can invalidate you and that you gotta give your expertise and everything you're doing, give it to them. For what? They're not paying you. That's why I always laugh. You ain't giving me nothing. You ain't paying me or giving me nothing. You think I'm gonna just center you and shit? What? Let's continue on with this.
Okay. Because they could more blend in with the society. It was a less chance that they would be lynched if they went where it was prestigious white people. You would have went down, stayed down here where these raggedy crackers was, down here in the South.
Look at how he threw the slur out there. You guys hear that? So, and I already said we already know he's racist black, talking shit on mulattoes. But of course, he doesn't like the whites, right? He said these raggedy crackers, right? And of course, he doesn't like mulattoes. Excuse me, apologize. Little, yeah. So he doesn't like the mulattoes because the mulattoes we have European ancestry, considerably. Look at us, we're at least half, literally, minimally. For me, my metric is like 40-60. It's a cutoff. I say you're mulatto. You're 40 European. I'm 50, probably 55, whatever. 40, 60, 50, 50. For me, that's the position of mulatto. You identify as us. You can at least show. I don't want to get into all that, but you guys, for the most part, understand where I'm coming from. This is why I make that distinction. If you're Griff, you're Griff. To me, you're not mulatto. So, I mean, you can try to run over here and try to blur the lines, and you've identified as black your whole life, but that you just found the internet, and now you're like, well, I'm something different. Okay, that's cool. You're something different, but you're not mulatto. And I just have to make that clear because people try to cross that line. They run into me. No, I'm not the guy. You can try that with some of these other weaker channels, but with me, no. No, we're very specific. And I'm lenient enough to say 40, 60, when I'm like a 50 plus guy, a 50 plus European. So when so I'm lenient enough. The whole the thing is that the genetic component, heritage, and the identity component is significant. But you have to have the genetics and the parentage configuration. But yeah, the identity is ultra important. Just want to lay it out there. Let me continue on.
Then it was more chance the light skinned people would get lynched because they wasn't confused about who y'all was. Neither was the ones in the South. That's why they later created Jim Crow. But let's go. So
Shout out to you. MLS people should date each other. You said Las Vegas is one of the only places I've been where mulatto women were interested in me. It was a strange but amazing experience. Yeah, man, I lived in Vegas for a minute for like less than 2 years, probably like 18 months or something like that. And it was very common. I lived in a couple different like apartment complexes moving around the city. And yeah, and I saw like I'd see mulatto couples, young people like my age, right? I'm a millennial guy. I'd see like Z's and like living with each other and shit, like couples. I was like, damn, this is good to see. And I'd see like mulattoes with like Mexicans as well, was common too. But that's common the West Coast, Southwest, whatever, regardless. Um, but yeah, that was definitely an eye opener, and that was during my epiphany moment. That's why I know what I'm doing. It's working. It can work. It's effective because I've already publicly seen this before I even jumped on social media, where I'm like, well, we actually like each other. Mulatto women and mulatto men, like we actually like each other. Don't get pulled into the gender war bullshit from Tyrone's baby mamas. Tyrone's biracial baby mama trying to pull in the gender war and shit. Talking about biracial men don't like the women and all. Don't get sucked into the negative baby mamas from the blacks, right? I've already publicly seen, like I said, off of YouTube, just in real life in Las Vegas, where I'm like the mulattoes actually like us, and vice versa. The men like the women. So this is very possible. It's happening right now. It's going to continue to happen. And for me, as a media personality, it's our job to promote it. That's it. Let's check this out.
So, and see, we're gonna have to do a live on this subject right here because it's long. Hold on. All right, let me go right here. Now, I'm going to have to blow this up. One fundamental development to the uprising as a result of settling of the Americas by Europeans was the creation of racial barriers, groups, boundaries, and identities, both in law and in practice. Contact between diverse ethnic groups and the national groups of Europe and Africa was closely followed by social sexual interactions. These relations were increasingly interrupted and explained by Europeans by employing the idea of race and the race purity domination. The idea of race invariably led to the idea of race mixing, an idea statuing an imaginary facts over fantasy, imaginary mysticism, mysticism, okay, but very clearly framed by powerful groups and individuals' economic, political, psychological interests of Europeans. See, they already they gonna have the psychology of Europeans, the buffer zone ism. They not gonna.
And he's adding in the buffer zone. I thought it was buffer class. Like I think the article he read, it was just by Afrocentric. The whole buffer class analogy. They don't look at you as your own people, your own people, your own demographic. They look at you as you're serving this group. And they're very extremist and hostile, these Afrocentrics, where they're like, if you're not going to be bastardized by them and be their fucking, subordinates and bootlickers, they look at you as an enemy opposition, enemy combatant. They're like, oh, you have the identity and mindset of the colonizer, right? What they're trying to do with Drake, right? They're gonna say, well, you think like one of them, and you know, taking on their psychology, failing to realize that we are part of them. We are a fusion, the mulatto. We don't owe you a damn thing, boy. You're not giving us nothing. What the hell do I owe you? See, they want to be able to outgroup you, slander you, talk shit, outgroup you, but yet they're not giving you any they demand all this loyalty, but yet they're not giving you like membership access. It's conditional to be accepted by I'm not the same as you, boy. Like, I'm looking at you, we're not the same. I don't claim you. I don't want you to claim me. Well, this is the way it's going to be. For me as a man, it's easy to say that. This is how it is. This is how it is. But for some other people, they're kind of softies. They're like, "Oh, I don't know, you know." But it's quite interesting. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I'll check out some more of your guys' comments because I think you guys are. Let's see. Shout out to you, Bunny, in the chat. You put nothing this Bantu is saying has anything to do with present 2025. Yeah, he made the clip like 3 years ago. You said he's talking about our ancestors essentially, and there was a lot of propaganda to boot. Yeah, but now see the Afrocentrics, they got their propaganda now too. It doesn't really get challenged, does it? That's why you guys come here. You got to fill that void. You guys come here because you want credible, reliable source of information through the mulatto lens, the mulatto perspective. You don't really have any other channels or networks out here that's going to give you guys this type of information from this angle. You don't. You don't. I don't see it. I mean, I just see, I just don't see it. I've never seen it. This is a very special operation. That's why I'm very proud of myself. Be honest with you. Not to toot my own horn, but it's just, I travel, whatever, go around the world, and it's just, yeah, this is something special I have going on. There's nothing else out here like this. Nothing else out here.
Gonna fight on the side of black people. They gonna fight on the side of whites because they see themselves as white. Okay, that's why that one light skinned boy hopped on Pan Africanism Strike Back and was saying
he called him a light skinned boy. That's why this one light skinned boy Pan Africanism strikes back.
All derogatory words that white people say to blacks. Okay, because he sees himself as white. A significant sections of
and that Pan-Africanism strikes back. That's a light-skinned black. And the thing is with the whole light-skinned black shit is you got people who are black like this guy you see on the screen. They're gonna call themselves light-skinned. That's why it's like it's not an identity, your skin color. You're basing your people, your nationhood, your culture identity off your skin color. With mulattoes, we're not about that. With mulattoes over here, with what I'm doing, my community, mulatto community, it's about heritage. European African, finding the balance and blend between heritage. This is mulatto. It's not about skin color. And that's the difference. Like, because this guy's calling this guy Pan Africanism Strikes Back. He called him light skin. He called him a boy. Let me do a Google search and see Pan Africanism. What I'm showing you what he looks like. Pan Africanism Strikes Back. Because I think I've seen an image or video of this guy before. This guy is not even like light skin. He's like brown skin. But that's the thing, man, with these people is they're calling blacks like light skins and shit. They're fucking confusing everybody. And they're trying to trick mulattoes to serve Bantus. That's all that shit is. This whole like light skin conversation is they're trying to hoodwink mulattoes to do the dirty work of blacks, to pull you back into their influence. Look at this guy. The guy literally called Pan-Africanism Strikes Back. He called him light skin. Does this look like a light skin to you guys? I had to share this with you guys because this is the shit I'm talking about with these people. They always pull this shit. When they talk about light skin, they try to make up the rules. They call the blackest motherfucker in the room light skin. It doesn't mean anything. And we can look at the image here with Dr. Claude Anderson, who's a multi-generational mulatto, right? And he married a mulatta and had kids with the mulatta. So he's part of that lineage, that old lineage of mulattoes who interbred with each other, right? And look, this is Pan-Africanism strikes back. Like, oh, I'm brown skin. Yeah, even got Tariq Nasheed, who he battled it with. Tariq Nasheed was calling people crispy and shit. What, Tommy Sotomayor? He's calling him crispy because he's what, a couple shades darker than you? But you ain't fucking light skin. That's the thing with this light skin shit, is you got blacks that are blacker than fucking Wesley Snipes calling themselves light skin. And I've been seeing this from day one, man, with the whole golden sphere and all this shit. And they're talking about MLS. I've been seeing people who are bliggity, biggity, blackety black calling themselves light skin. Like, this is very bizarre. Like, I'm a mulatto man, I'm a biracial man. I'm not playing these games with you people. This confusion, this black shit. You don't want to be black, you want to be Indian, and you want to be light skinned now. And then you got this other Bantu guy. He's calling this guy light skin. And I'm looking at him like, where? No, yeah, Dr. Claude Anderson would be the light skin. He's the mulatto. But the guy next to him, nah, he's one of yours, homie. He's probably a shade lighter. Nah, he's one of yours. You want to call him light skin or something to kind of cast him out of the community. He ain't mulatto. He ain't mulatto. This is the issue with these people. And then you got some light skins who call these Bantus their dark skinned brothers and sisters. Get the fuck out of here. This guy's your brother and sister, and he's casting you out and trying to throw you with the mulattoes and shit, trying to play this hot potato mess. And see this Bantu with glasses, he didn't even claim you motherfuckers, man. And then you got these light skins talking about brothers and sisters, dark skinned brother and sister. They my people. And he's trying to throw you guys with us, the mulattoes. Fuck out of here. I'm irritated because they're trying to like redefine like what every single day, every 24 hours, they have a new definition of what light skin is or what mixed is. That's why with this whole operation with this mulatto, it's like we're ultra specific. Me, myself personally, I will have the leniency. The 40-60 right there. Other than that, you say you got 30%, you're a griff, whatever, you're not mulatto. Go take it up with some of these other pussy mulattoes. Have fun with them. That's fine. And trust me, I'm just one dude, but there's other mulattoes out here that are going to be way more extreme than me. They're going to be like, oh, you're too diplomatic, mulatto vanguard. They're going to be like super extremists. I already know. Like, I can already see some of the rhetoric behind the scenes. I already know in the future, you're going to have some of these mulattoes who are going to be like super, to the T with specificity. But I think I'm lenient enough to where it's like, look, you're mostly you're mixed, you're balanced to a degree. Maybe not precisely 50-50. That's hard to, basically demand, but you identify with us. Phenotypically, you present like us. I think it's fair to say, based off your life experiences, and we can take it from there, case by case. That's how I position it. But I just get a kick out of it with this whole light skin shit. And you got this Bantu who's calling another black person light skin. So it confuses that light skin, that guy who's, to me, he's not light skin, but it confuses him where he thinks he's light skin. He comes around mulattoes and we're looking at you like, bro, you ain't one of us, homie. You ain't light skin. I don't know who tricked you. Like, you're brown skin or you're something else, but you're not like and then they get mad at us, the mulattoes. They want to call us anti-black or racist. Like, no, we're just not the same people, bro. Like, you're black passing. You look black. Everybody, like, white people don't ask you, what are you? Latinos don't ask you, what are you? Latinos know you're black, negrito. When the Latinos look at me and they ask me, what are you? Yeah, we don't have the same experience as blacks. That's the difference. So let's continue on with this because it's crazy.
Volume literature on slavery across the Americas focus on the creation of racial barriers, okay, boundaries and identities. Most attention focus on the ways in which notions of Europeans and Christianity with notions of Africans and heathens, okay? See, so they saw Christianity as pure and African religions as heathens, Africans as heathens. So that's why
and they felt like that with every group they dealt with, right? They wanted to promulgate their own philosophies, their theologies, their religions. So it's not only did it with the Africans, they did it with the native peoples and even the Indians and Indian subcontinent and the natives in the Americas and Asians, right? They did it with all peoples. That's they wanted to push their ruling theology. That's for dominance and control. So don't act like you're special. They did that to your little African religion because, and I say that little African religion because a lot of you guys are like practicing Christians and Muslims and shit. You still believe you're the only people who worship gods who don't even look like you. So you guys got internal issues, man. My whole thing is, why do you try to push this on mulattoes, but now you're getting pushback, boy, getting pushback because we're not having it. We're tired of it. You've been slandering our name, and with the whole light skin shit and the whole like dating stuff, I'm not a part of the black community, so I don't even give a damn. I'm not a part of that community. I don't care. If the light skinned chicks want to get with the dark skins, have fun. Have fun. It's not my business. I don't care. I'm not a part of the black community. I don't identify with you guys. So that's not the angle I'm coming from. I'm coming from the angle where this guy wants to spread anti-mulatto rhetoric and he can think that it can just slide under the radar. We're not supposed to talk about it or absorb it or observe it, I should say. Let's continue on.
The mixed mulatto, will never identify or never. That's why they talk shit about Marcus Garvey. Remember, Marcus Garvey was the Black Star Line, taking people back to Africa. They don't want to go back to Africa.
They don't want to go back to Africa. He just generalizes, but I've been to Africa, been to Ghana. So don't listen to this babbling savage, just making up lies. The mulatto they had a president in Ghana, and what was his name? Jerry Rawlins, mulatto president. Even in Botswana, you had a mulatto president. I forgot the gentleman's name. But W.E.B. Du Bois, he was laid to rest in Ghana. I visited the room where he was laid to rest in. They have a museum there in Accra in Ghana. W.E.B. Du Bois went to Ghana, went to Africa, and retired and was laid to rest. Marcus Garvey, from what I understand, never made it to Africa. He talked about this whole Black Star Line, which is a shipping company. That shit never even came to fruition from what I heard because he didn't get the funding or whatever. Like, it was never in operation. That was like a theory. That was like a concept he envisioned and tried to develop, but it never came to fruition. And you got these pro-wax 100 years later still trying to spread these lies. Like Marcus Garvey is so honorable and that he, did all this great stuff for blacks, and he's trying to paint the mulattoes. They don't want to connect with Africa, blah, blah, blah. I just told you, I've been to Ghana. I was in the same room with another mulatto who was already transitioned, W.B. Du Bois. It's like these people have been spreading lies about us for years and years and years. Nobody challenges them or checks them until now.
So this is how we know people that say, we ain't going to Africa. These light-skinned niggas. See what I'm saying?
This is the overlap here where they group up these light skins with mulattoes. We're not the same. A light-skinned African-American who's black identified, who grew up in the hood with blacks, it's not the same as a mulatto, period. I've been saying that from day one. It's nothing new over here, people. Screen recorded, screenshotted, all you want. It's nothing new. I've been saying this from day one, and they've all hated me, all the golden sphere, because the golden sphere is just a bunch of blacks pretending to be mixed and pretend to be mulatto. So, of course, they all hated me from day one. I've been saying this, like, we're not the same. The overlap here is because this dark-skinned Bantu, who's a racist, anti-white, he's trying to throw lighter-skinned people into the mulatto box. That's where the overlap is. It doesn't mean we're the same because this powerless Negro is trying to say that we're the same. It doesn't mean it's the truth. That's what I'm trying to tell for the lighter-skinned African Americans who are listening to me. No, we're not the same. Okay, I'm not black identified. I don't identify with black people. Okay. And if you do, that's cool. But just so you know, so I don't hurt your feelings, like I don't identify with black people. So when you see a guy like this who's trying to say the light skins and this and that, well, clearly the guy's dumb. He can't read. He's ill-informed. There's obviously other issues there. And he's a racist. Okay. And so I just want to lay that out there.
Don't want to go because they not going to be accepted as black. They not in America. They not going to be accepted in Africa as black. Okay. And so,
It's funny because, like, specifically the mulattoes, having lighter skin in Africa is actually a benefit. And that's the thing where he's coping, not telling you the truth. I've been there, and even a guy who's an African American, but he's a dark skinned guy. He's my teacher, actually. And he was over there. And I talked about this before with another mulatto man, the Ant Report. I talked about a situation, a scenario that happened where the guy at the bar in Kumasi, the hotel bar, like he served me, but then like 2 minutes later, my teacher walked in, and he walked in with the white boy too, one of the guys, another student there, and the black guy, the staff, the bartender didn't serve him. He told him, "Oh, we're closed. You have to go across the street." Just denied him access, and I was sitting there with my cold beer, just like, damn, that dude walked in a minute late, 2 minutes after me, and didn't get served. And I knew, and then my teacher kind of looked at me, and I kind of looked down, like, oh shit, sitting there with my beer there. Was like, I already knew what was going on. There was no need to like further elaborate or to explain. Just at a psychological level, I already knew that a lot of blacks, a lot of them have their own self-hatred, and they'll prefer lighter skinned people. So even in the continent of Africa, the motherland, you'll have dark skinned Africans who would rather do business with me than a darker skinned African from some other country, in this case, America. And so they internalize that, the African Americans. They hate us because of that, because they know their own race, their own people in Africa would trust us more, trust mulattoes more. They see us as more of like a pathway to wealth and prosperity or the whiteness, that they're more open arms to us mulattoes. So they can lie all they want. This is what they hate about. This is why a lot of them are trying to disconnect from Africa. They're claiming this FBA, this fake ass fraudulent identity, trying to hijack people's identities, calling themselves indigenous and natives. That's why they're doing this crap, because they know their own people are preferring other nations over their own. This is it.
but significant attention was also being devoted to the peoples of groups of mixed race. There are studies of single territories as well, comprehensive studies as reads literature can one direct.
Shout out to you, Bunny. You say EU to identify as a and speak for mulattoes. Well, the Exoticals United is not a mulatto. Okay, I knew that from beginning listening to her, just because there's a sense, a tone of like anti-whiteness, and mulattoes are half white. So I noticed that from day one. That's, she's more, because she's more on the black side, and so she's more for the blacker exoticals and all that shit. It's, that's what it is. So EU Exoticals United does not speak for mulattoes. She doesn't. And she wants to pretend and try to put them in a group. That's what these broad labels they've done, like with the golden sphere or golden or MGM and these terms, or even light skin black. They're trying to hoodwink you to put you into their black group where they're the majority. That's why, like, the specificity is so important. I'm telling you, mulattoes and mulattas, the specificity is everything. You will safeguard your own situation, your own group. Because when they throw you in these broad labels, they want to outnumber you and have ownership over you. And so with the EU, yeah, she's not mulatto. She's not mulatto. And I've sensed that too, like a resentment towards mulattoes, because mulattoes are half white. That's your birthright. That's your heritage. And she's not a part of that. So it's, she doesn't speak for mulattoes. I've known that from the beginning. So it's yeah.
Consensus around the characterization of the definition, circumstances, attitudes of people, mixed race. It argues that there are fundamental differences treatment in the territories of the British Caribbean islands, British Caribbeans, and North America. Okay. Now,
It's crazy when he screenshots, he has his own face there, like when he screenshot the article, but he's broadcasting or doing the video from his phone, from some screen recorder. It's interesting how he's doing this. I don't know how. Maybe that's one thing I can learn from him is his broadcasting capabilities, but the guy can't really read for shit. And that's why like I generically named the title, you know, what I name it, Ghetto Pro Black, you know. But it's funny because like how many of you 3 years ago, so July 8th, we're coming up on July in like several weeks, so it'll be 3 years, right? And he has 242 views. This stream I'm talking to you guys on right now, guaranteed in the next 48 hours, I will have more views and more likes and more engagement on this stream than he does on this video he did a few years ago. Interesting.
Boom. So what is Tariq doing? Okay, so he done had a
So this is the good part because he's going to go in on Tariq. It's like we call it a turf war or something. To me, it's all the same shit, man. You guys are all you're milking off black people's insecurities instead of giving them like wealth building strategies, psychological empowerment, pride and heritage, like different other coping mechanisms. Instead of giving that, like they want to give him a scapegoat. And with the reason why you have me, someone like me, pushing back against your black ass is because you want to scapegoat mulattoes. You want to paint us as being duplicitous and nefarious, like we got an agenda, or like they're disrespected. Like, oh, you want to identify as white. You don't want to identify as black. No, we're not going to identify as black because when we identify as black, you savages want to punk us and tell us we're not like you, not like them. We're all done with that shit. I'm not going to be nice about it. I'll tell you straight up. But no, the reason why I'm here today is because we're pushing back. You guys have gotten away with this stuff for too long, scapegoating mulattoes. When what you should be doing, like I said, wealth building strategies, educate your own people to get passports, to open up businesses in Africa, connect with other black nations, do all that. But they want mulattoes to do that for their ass. They want us to help them out. Fuck out of here. You people need to pay us. You owe us. And that's why I tell mulattoes, you're gonna deal with them, make sure they give you something. They owe you.
Okay, so he done had another little mixosphere, another mule, a mixed mulatto. Okay.
So he's calling the baby a mule or mixosphere mulatto. You see that? You see how they start early on demonizing babies, demonizing. See, this is what it is. Starting early on demonizing.
Right. See?
So they're just like the white supremacists. That's what I'm saying. Like their rhetoric, their anger and animosity, but they have to find a scapegoat, right? For why they're losers in society. Where the white supremacists, they blame the Jews. They were just upset because Jews are smarter than them. So they blame the Jews. And then you have the black racists, they blame the mulattoes. But their rhetoric is virtually identical. And I already mentioned when you reference it, you look at like where the white, the Anglos, they talk about Mein Kampf, the Jewish question. They bring up the Kalergi plan and how with mass immigration and forced miscegenation, how it's undermining the purity of the white race. That's what the Anglos cry about. But then you have the black racists, the black Bantu supremacists. They talk about Chancellor Williams, the destruction of black civilization, how the mulattoes get in positions of power to wield influence and undermine blacks. Like their rhetoric is the same. It's the same. And it's mulattoes who have to wake up and start to question and push back. Ultimately, you're going to have to push back because they've been doing this for way too long, unchallenged and unchecked.
Hey, again, shout out to Afro Think Tank. If it wasn't for him, see, he came up with the mixosphere. I got you, King. See, I got you. If you
He's saying, I got you, King. I got you. Afro Think Tank is mixed race. Or not even, let me pause. Let me rephrase that. Afro Think Tank is a light skinned black. Okay, is that what you guys want to hear? Because you guys are trying to claim some of these, even mulattoes and biracial people are out here like, there's no such thing as a light skinned black. All light skins are mixed race. Well, okay, whatever. We say Afro Think Tank. So I want to pause and say that because Afro Think Tank is a light skinned black. Now I don't claim he's not a mulatto. I don't claim him. He ain't one of us. Um, but he's one of these content creators who's Pan African, and he's like on the lighter skin side. Let me see. I try to do. Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up a quick image. Yeah, here we go. Now just check this out. He literally called him a king. He's like, shout out, I got you, king. I got you, king. Now check this out. He claimed Afro Think Tank as a king. Like I said, he's not, to me, he's not mulatto. I don't claim him as mulatto. He doesn't identify with us. I kind of slipped up. I said, quote unquote, mixed race, because a lot of these people, a lot of mixed people will say, well, you're mixed race. Yeah, maybe so. I don't know his percentage. I don't care. Clearly, look at him, his phenotype, his features and stuff. He's not pure African. Something's going on there. But regardless, I don't claim him as mulatto. I'm just being specific here, being real. He's a Pan-Africanism, pro-black guy. But this dark-skinned Bantu called him a king. He's like, shout out to him. Because this is their light-skinned subordinate. This is their light-skinned savior who will kiss the butts of dark-skinned people. So he'll claim him as being a quote-unquote brother. But what did he say earlier in the stream? Let me share again. He said Pan-Africanism strikes back. He said he's one of these light skins, these confused people. Do you guys see this shit? Look at this. This dark-skinned dude, he's claiming him to be a light skin. He doesn't identify with him. See, this is how they weaponize blackness. They want to pick and choose who gets to be black and not. And if they don't like you, they're going to say, oh, you light skin. You confused. You one of these mixed people. Get out of here. That's what he said with this guy. No, this is your people, homie. You got to learn to work with them. This is part of you. Fuck out of here. He's trying to throw this guy in our group and say, oh, you light skin, you mixed or something like that. You know, but then we go right back. You guys rewind the clip. It's on this stream, guys. I just talked about it. Rewind the clip. But then I'm sharing the same shit. My bad. Let me go back. Okay, yeah. He said that guy was light skinned and mixed and he ain't really black like that. But this guy who's lighter than him, who looks way more mixed, he's saying he's a king, he's a brother. This is the pathology of the Bantu. And this is what they want to pick and choose who gets to be black based on who's stroking their ego, doing their dirty work, essentially. They need subordinates to do their dirty work. And see, they try to police blackness in that fashion. And they want to pick and choose. It's astounding. I just, like I said, I only played the first 2 minutes before I hopped up here, like a week or a few days ago. I watched a couple of minutes. I was like, okay, this is easy work. Let me dissect this and just hop up here impromptu and just like clown this fool, because I'm like, this is the same rhetoric. They want to pick and choose. The Pan-Africanism strikes back. Who's black? Pan-Africanism, but whatever little beef they got going on, whatever, he wants to claim him being light skinned. But the actual light skinned guy, Afro Think Tank, he claims him as a king and a brother. This is the confusion the Bantu pushes. But then they want to look at you mulattoes and say you're confused because you don't identify with them, because they're trying to basically gaslight you and to be their subordinate with the whole confused talk. Oh, you don't identify as black. You're confused. Translation: you won't let them punk you. You won't let them maneuver you and manipulate you. So something's got to be wrong with you. You got to be confused. Like, that shit only works with the females. That's where the whole tragic mulatto myth comes from. They can only pull that shit with weaker women, not the strong and the mulatto women who have a strong sense of self. They're not going to fall for it. The mulatto women who are my audience members or supporters, etc., right? It's only the biracial baby mamas who are already kind of fucked up, and then, those are the only ones going to work on, not the ones over here.
Y'all frame it, I'll put it in the play. Okay, now, so you see, this man that got all these white babies, so you see where his philosophy gotta be. Okay, he done lived this life. Okay, and Tariq black, his mama black, daddy black. Okay, far as we know. as far as we know. But
Nah, he's black like you. He's just as black as that Pan Africanism strikes back guy. And they both were beefing because Tariq represents the FBA, the kind of lunatic fringe black extremist, the xenophobic black extremist. And then Pan Africanism strike back represents that kind of global African community, dysphoria kind of connecting. So they're different camps of like black consciousness. And I think they actually had some court battles. It kind of got deep to where they went back and forth based off like defamation or slander. I don't know the specifics, but I know there was like beef there with those two content creators, this guy in the screen, Tariq, and the other guy, Pan Africanism Strikes Back, who this Bantu with glasses is trying to say he's light skinned. No, he ain't. You people don't make the rules. I'll let you know what it is, okay, boy?
so he not gonna be considered as no mulatto or nothing, but his children could pass for white. You see what I'm saying? So he gonna
Nah, his children can't pass for white. You're tripping. Tariq Nasheed's black. His wife, because he's married, so I respect that, is mulatto, and his children are griffs. They call griffs. I call them black, but some people on the internet they call them griffs. That's the language they use. Okay, but yeah, he has black kids, but his kids are lighter than him, but darker than the mom because the wife is mulatto. Okay, so yeah, they're not white. They're not white passing. Never will be. They're part of the black group, black community. Okay, so let's lay that out there. Let's be clear.
don't have to try to build something in America that can shield his children, okay, from racism from blacks and whites. See what I'm saying?
So he acknowledges that the blacks are racist, which we already all know. If you're over here on this channel, you've been tuned in for me to me for a minute. You already know, like we expose these people. These blacks are just as racist as whites, and he even admitted it. Yeah, because earlier he was saying what cracker, this cracker, or something like that. He already exposed himself to be anti-white, a black racist, right? Using the white man's internet, using the white man's technology, talking shit, right? How ungrateful. And then, yeah, he just admitted, yeah, the racism from the blacks and the whites. So it's crazy. You still got these blacks out here with the fairy tales trying to say that they're not racist or black people can't be racist. They have no systemic power. You people are just as racist as everyone else out here, and you're getting exposed for it. The mulattoes are exposing you for your racism. And it's strengthening mulattoes because it's going to add more of a case for our plight and for our legitimacy to push forward with autonomy, getting racial classification, getting recognition, real representation, not these punk ass mulattoes who want to identify as black and, cry and be apologetic for being mulatto. Very pitiful. No, we're going to have real solid mulattoes who are proud. They're not going to be pushed around and they're not going to cow.
So his children is the one the tragic mulatto. Okay? The tragic mulatto.
Okay, okay. But what's tragic? They got money. Tariq has got money. He lives with them good white folks. I think his home, his net worth is like, what? Not his net worth. I don't know that, but I believe the value of his home and where he lives at is like, it was quoted like over 2 million bucks, like a close to $3 million home. Now, when I first heard it was like around 2 million. That was like several years ago. In California, the value went up, baby. So he lives in a very nice place. All the homes in California, the lower cost of I'm from California, the lower cost home is like worth at like 600,000 K, more than $500,000 bucks. And that's for an average basic home in Cali. That's like the highest price of real estate in the country is in California or New York, those two marketplaces for real estate. And he lives in an affluent area, surrounded by whites, of course, because he's a pro whack with money. They always live next to their white massa with his psyop social media campaign. And yeah, so he's living good. But this clown here is Bantu, who's struggling, who could barely read. He's sitting there telling him, oh, he's raising tragic mulattoes. Nobody in Tariq's lineage or family is tragic. They're all living good. I'm not talking crap about Tariq. I'm not saying he's a bad father or he's a bad guy. It's obvious he's a grifter. It's too easy to make money off blacks. You got this biracial guy who was talking shit about blacks when I first ran across his channel. He completely rebranded and now he's like the biggest panderer to black women and shit. And like he just completely rebranded. But it's like I remember you when I first came across you. You talk so much shit about black people, but now you're like pro black female. So it's like it's such an easy demographic to grift off of. And Tariq Nasheed is just the best one at doing it, grifting off their insecurity. So so he's living good. He's getting paid, he's got money, and nobody in his family, all of them, they're eating. They're gonna eat. Nobody's starving where he's at. They all are gonna be good. So like what's tragic about that? That's what I'm trying to say. Like they're not struggling. There's nothing tragic. Like they're all living good. They can eat what they want, live in a nice, safe neighborhood, surrounded by those civilized, good white folks, right? Right?
Mulatto, they have a high suicide rate, sexual deviance.
And he's not providing statistics. Another bambling buffoon. He's saying the self-deletion rate. He said the sexual deviancy. You people can't talk, man. This dark-skinned Bantu, this North American Bantu, and this Anglo white boy, you people can't talk. You can't fix your lip to talk about mulattoes and our sexual deviancy or our proposed sexual deviancy. You people can't talk. None of you people. If you're Latino or Asian or something, and you make a claim, if you provide some sources or whatever, oh, I might listen a bit. But especially this Bantu, you're not providing any sources. You talk about self-deletion. And then you're talking about like the sexual perversion. Yeah, you can't talk, boy. I don't know. You have no credibility as far as I'm concerned. I already know with my video, I'm going to get more views than you. And I'm not even competing with you, like whatever, the little channel. A mulatto man shared this with me. It's like, oh, cool, thanks. Like, I'm open to requests and recommendations. So you guys can hit me up on IG. You guys can find me on Instagram. You guys can email me, mulattovanguard@gmail.com. Send me a link so you want me to talk about something. I had a gentleman from the UK. I already replied to him like a few hours ago. Shout out to you, gentleman from Birmingham, England. He wanted me to talk about a mulatto man who they're trying to blackwash. I saw your email. Shout out to you. I will do something with that, with what you shared. So you guys can email me. You guys can hit me up on IG. You guys can hit me up on Facebook, all my socials, and let me know. We got here fair use. Yeah, let me know, because this video was shared to me through a gentleman, and that's how I came across this. So I'm not even trying to like compete with this guy based off like subscriber count or views. I'm just very confident to know, like with my reach to what I've been able to build and develop, where it's like, yeah, more people are going to listen to me than this clown, and like more people are going to listen because they're listening to this guy. Even for me, like giving this kind of reaction, I'm like, this guy's a buffoon. He's not providing any sources or statistics. He's making these claims, broad claims, talking about they have self-deletion rates or sexual perversion. Like, who in their right mind will believe you? You don't have any credibility.
Alcoholism, drugism, okay, and hate on black peopleism, okay.
And hate on black peopleism. He's got to throw that in there because he's a special victim. Remember that. That's the crazy part, right? But see, if the mulattoes, a lot of these mulattoes, they hate on whites, and then like these same racist blacks, of course, they're not going to say nothing about that. They're laughing, ha ha ha. You're half white. You got a white daddy, or you got a white mama, but you don't like whites, ha ha ha. Because then they know, like, I got you where I want you. You want to identify with us. Let's trick this fool. And now, see, for them, it works perfectly, especially if it's a female. They can get one of these radical kind of Afrocentrics, and you got a white mama. But you see, because your black daddy was never around, so now you want to kind of cling on to this dark-skinned Bantu to fill in that void for your absentee black daddy, right? And that pathology has to get questioned, because they can be utilized as tools to be against us, which they are. I mean, you see the biracial baby mamas who are starting the whole gender wars on YouTube, the same losers who've been doing it for the past 3 years. It's the common trend. One of those idiots, the town drunk, I can say that. The owl shows in the chat. He knows who I'm talking about. The town drunk. She publicly said she didn't even meet her black dad till like after high school, till she was like an adult or something. She didn't even grow up with her black family. See, I can't relate to that. I grew up with my black family. I grew up with both sides of my family. That's a difference. So for someone like her, see, she's trying to fill that void. That's why she's ultra like kind of pro black now and trying to defend black people and all this crap. Because let's be real, nobody else will accept her. Even the mulattoes don't even accept her ass. She's stuck with like a 70-year-old Latino guy and some weak ass, dude who's like a fake Dominican. Like she's she's stuck with like fucking losers and shit. And that's it reflects that. So you put here, they engage in interracial slave play. Who is really deviant? Yeah, and people like referenced about the guy Shannon Sharp. Now I'll mention it in this segment right now, but someone mentioned it before in a comment, and I was like, well, there's nothing to do with mulattoes with that whole scenario, so it's not really my place to kind of talk about it. But yeah, the Shannon Sharp thing I can mention here, like, wasn't that kind of slave play? Shannon Sharp was like the buck. He had this white chick and they were doing like BDSM kind of stuff. I didn't look into the whole story, but that's what I'm grasping. They kind of have this mutual relationship. Remember, Shannon Sharp's a multimillionaire, former football player, has a lot of status on television, has a successful podcast, a media personality. He's very visible. So it's like he has a lot of status, right? So he can get a random, like just random fucking strange, and he can have a lot of status. And so I think that's the arrangement he had with someone where he was involved in that kind of slave play type of stuff. So that's very common. And it works the other way around too, where some of those guys, the darker skinned Bantus, they want to be like boys. Like they call it race play, right? Yeah, they want to be like the boy to like a white woman. So they'll be involved in like the BDSM, or what they call with the woman's in power, dominatrix, where they have slave play element dominatrix, where the female will like talk shit to them, and in some weird cases put on a strappy. I don't want to get so graphic, but it's yeah, let me continue on.
Okay, nasty mouth. Okay, nasty mouth. Okay, so look, we ain't done. We ain't done. Got some more for you. Hold on, because I want to show y'all how people, they not fooling nobody. Now, this Black Power sister named Jacqueline Cunningham, she wrote
Yeah, Jacqueline Cunningham, or Cunningham, excuse me. Yeah, that sounds really African to me. She has a slave name. Yeah, good for her. Cunningham. What is that? Like English or something, or Scottish? That ain't African, homie. So it's funny how you got this, like, the former slave with the slave name is going to talk about mix this and mix that. And it's like, man, shut up.
specific piece about Tariq and these mules. Okay, these mixed sterile mulattoes.
That's the crazy thing. You hear this guy, the racist language, he's calling you guys these mules, these mixed mulattoes, and he's laughing. Like, mule? What are you talking about, mules, bro? See, that's all just jealousy. We know this Bantu, because he can't, there's no mutability with them. No other races can relate to them. Specifically this guy, because he doesn't have any talent, or he can't share. He doesn't have any creativity or music. If he had some type of talent or expertise or knowledge, that people would connect with him. It doesn't, your phenotype, okay, that, yeah, there's certain barriers there. But even with someone with his phenotype, if he was actually a good person and had some skill set or knowledge and could help people, or he had a creativity, like with artistic, endeavors, if he was a musician or whatever, a athlete, or he had something he provided where he could connect with people, people would look past all this phenotype crap if he offered something. But this guy, he's a bum. He doesn't offer anything. So he's going off this where he's talking about mulattoes, and the mule and all this. Like, how is that helpful to anybody? But this is that pro whack shit. They got to find a scapegoat. They're picking us, they're picking on us, and we're challenging them. That's it. Because remember, they're going to try to flip it and think that they're justified, and they're going to paint it as I'm the bad guy and Mulatto Vanguard, you're anti-black, you know. You called this guy a boy, Mulatto Vanguard, you know. You're a racist. He's calling you people fucking mules. He's calling you animals. What's worse, calling a male, an adult male, a boy, or him calling you an animal, calling you a mule? He called you sterile and a mule. But see, this is how what they're doing. They're going to twist things. And then they got their biracial baby mamas on deck. They're disgruntled hood boogers. They're going to sit there and paint you as the bad guy. And I'm responding to people who are anti-mulatto. Wake up, man. It's ridiculous. These people have been getting away with too much shit, slandering our name.
Okay? Don't throw him no bone. Oh, man, she light skinned, man. I want get out of that. She do the red bone. The red bone is a black. It's a difference. It's a difference between what y'all call red bones and high yellow. They black. Mama black, daddy black, granddaddy, grandmama, everybody black. So it's a difference between them two. Then the mixed race, okay? But some of them light skins, okay, it's gonna have some of the same sentiments about Africa, black people, as the mixed.
You see how he's laying that distinction, delineation? He's telling you, well, the red bone, the yellow bone, they family, they all black, they black. And he's talking about, well, the mixed race, you see? You see, when he says it, it's okay. But when I say it, it hurts people's feelings, right? Because there's black people who want to pretend to be mixed. They find my channel and they get their little feelings hurt. Because I'm gonna keep it 100. It's nothing new. You guys who barely found me a couple months ago, like I've been saying this shit for 3 years, man. Coming up on 3 years, almost 3 years. In about 2 months, it'll be 3 years. Like I've been saying this from day one. I'm like, we're not the same as these people. They're red bone or whatever, and whatever. Beyonce, I don't claim she's not mulatto. That's cool. She's got Creole heritage, and her mom is mixed and stuff. Beyonce, but she's not mulatto. Like she's not a. So it's like, don't get shit twisted and act like we're all part of the same. No, we're not. No, we're not. And this guy knows it too. And everybody else knows it. Let's be real. White America knows it. They see a Beyonce and they'll acknowledge that she's lighter skinned and she has a mixed mom. Everyone acknowledges that. But they're like, a Beyonce and Meghan Markle is not the same. Meghan Markle has a white father. She is a mulatto female. Okay. That there is a difference. And he knows that too. See, that red bone shit, they're talking about people like Beyonce. Meghan Markle is a mulatta. This is a difference. Cultural, heritage, identity, genetics. It is all aligned.
Race mulatto. Okay? So listen to this, what this sister had to say. Tariq Nasheed and his wife, Peanut, have their newborn mixed baby. The wife is a non-black. And this makes 2 out of the 3 babies she dropped already for really good works for Tariq Nasheed has done from his Hidden Color series.
I'm gonna read it because I don't like what this guy reads. He's just something's not clicking. Tariq Nasheed and his wife Peanut have their newborn quote unquote mixed baby. The wife is quote unquote non-black. She's mulatto, right? And this makes 2 or 3 babies she's dropped already for the quote unquote really great work Nasheed has done, from his hashtag Hidden Colors series to his new documentary, hashtag Buckbroken. I've come to view him in an entirely different light. He seems to really enjoy calling black women and men quote unquote ratchet, quote unquote dusty, and other negative terms. He's now on this quote unquote foundational black American mantra, feuding with African immigrants and perpetuating negative stereotypes of indigenous Africans. Yet, his wife's mama is a whole white woman. Yeah, his Mother-in-law, right. But Tariq insists his wife is black after being called out about her ethnicity. Yeah, his wife is not black, but he's a typical pro-whack. They want to marry into the mulatto group. Edward Reuter talked about this 100 years ago with the superiority of the mulatto. Research that article. I have it on this channel. I think I privated the stream, one of my first kind of streams. I might check it out. You don't even have to look at my stream on YouTube. I'll probably publish it, make it public, and share it, but just go look it up. Go do some Google research. Superiority of the Mulatto by Edward Reuter. Talked about this 100 years ago. They've been studying the Negroes and they've already researched and understood that they are going to always try to uplift themselves in society by marrying into the mulatto group. That's why you see guys like Dr. Dre marries a quadroon female, Kendrick Lamar marries a mulatta. This is what they always do. They've been doing it for the past 100 years. So when we see guys like Tariq Nasheed, it's no different. He marries a mulatta. Of course he does. He's just like Professor Griff, the guy with the Public Enemy. They all marry. They look to marry mulattas. I think even Rick Ross, the rapper guy, had a mulatta partner. That's what these people do. They're not fooling me. They only fool the black identified and the baby mamas. That's it. Yet his wife's mama is a whole white woman. Yeah, right. You kind of lose respect for them, quote unquote, teachers who bends his rhetoric to accommodate his own directives. He says he's all about black unity and empowerment, yet lives in a predominantly white gated community. Yeah, I already mentioned that. He lives in like rich area somewhere, Los Angeles County, and rails against any other black quote unquote leader that might take the spotlight off of him. Well, because he's going to lose capital, he's going to lose, influence, right? Of course, he's going to lose market share in the grift, the pro whack Afrocentric grift. There's a huge market. He's going to lose money. He's a millionaire. Tariq Nasheed's a millionaire, but poor blacks are, fetching over, pennies and dollars and cash apps and whatever little money they got to support him to make him a millionaire. Because he doesn't have a rich audience clientele. Those are just working class black people who have made Tariq Nasheed a millionaire. Hey man, that's on them. If they can spend their money whatever they want, I don't care. It's not my community, not my people. I don't care. I'm not talking about this. That's not my, what I mean is I'm not talking about this, that I'm not this angle. I'm not pocket watching Tariq. It's not my business. I don't care. He found his grift. They're paying him. That's on him. I'm only going to challenge these people when they spread this rhetoric. I'm not only, but for sure I'm going to challenge them when they spread this rhetoric that's anti-mulatto. His capitalism has become his main focus now. Instead of teaching, I'm going to keep the CDs and books I have at Tariq because I learned from them. Yeah, whatever.
His new documentary, Book Breaking,
Let me fast forward.
perpetrating.
See, he's slow as hell at reading.
But Tariq insists his wife is black after being called out about her.
He's still stuck in the
and rails against any other black leaders because I've learned from them.
Yeah, here we go.
But I'm pretty much done with this.
I had to skip like 2 minutes. This guy is slow as hell.
This brother, and this brother, the teacher, has stopped practicing what once he preached. Stay vigilant, Black Nation. See? So this nigga not fooling everybody. Everybody can see that this nigga is on a mixed race. See? He on a mixed race. See, he a buffer zone for the mixed race.
Okay. He says the buffer zone. I don't know why he's saying zone, bro. You didn't say buffer class. Now Tariq is just, making money off you fools. You guys are suckers. You guys are looking for people to hate on. You guys act just like the whites because you have the psychology of these whites. You blacks, the former slaves, you think just like your white massa. They've implanted their psychology into you. You want people to look down on to make yourselves feel better. That's why all you people, not all of you, but a lot of you went with Kendrick Lamar to hate on Drake. You wanted so badly to hate on that biracial man to make your black ass feel better about yourself. We already know you people. We studied you. It's the same with how a lot of these whites, they want to look down on blacks or look down on Mexicans or immigrants. It's the same exact people. The psychology is virtually the same. The rhetoric might be a little different. Their sources of where they got the philosophies might be a little different, right? The Jewish question or the mulatto problem, the clarity plan, etc. But they have the same mentality. They want to look down on people. These racist black Bantus, like this guy, they want to look down on biracial men to make themselves feel better about themselves. That's why they all went in lockstep to support little Kendrick Lamar, who's their little Bantu proxy. They hate on Drake. They want to feel better than him. He not like us. He weaker. He got a white mama from Canada. He weak. Right? They want to feel better about themselves. It's the same with a lot of these racist whites who want to act like they're the real Americans. These Mexicans, they just came over here. Even though they're working harder than me, they just came over here. They're not real Americans, right? And it's the same. These racist blacks, they act just like these racist whites. And then they project that shit onto you mulattoes. And you mulattoes who take it, I don't know why. Just make sure they're paying you. That's what I'm saying. Fuck.
Okay, and the mixed race is a buffer zone, so for blacks can't get the whites. Okay, they a fucking gate. Okay, that push back on anything black. Okay, but to
The light skinned black male channels you talk to are trying to get biracial women too. Someone's little sock puppet account here. The thing is, you have to ask it. For me, the biracial women are the prettiest women. So it's like, well, everybody likes them. So what I don't see what the problem is. Like people want what they want. If you're a good match, like this is I don't run a dating channel. And I don't de-police or tell people who they should and shouldn't be with, or it's not my business. I don't care. I'd be way out of fucking bounds. And actually, people would stop listening to me if I were to preach that stuff of who should be with who and blah, blah. I don't care. I will always promote like mulatto couples because if we're ever going to be a growing population of people, we're going to have to promote each other being with each other, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We can't promote images of like a mulatto guy with a white chick and a mulatto woman with her white boy and then act like this is like going to help our growth. It's not, you know. So, but this isn't a dating channel. I don't take it from that angle. But you sit here and you say your sock puppet account, whatever. The light skinned black male channels you talk to are trying to get biracial women. Well, everyone's trying to get their women. Like that's the market. Like the white guys want to get biracial women, black guys do. Biracial men want to get biracial women. So what? What the hell am I going to do? Why do I care? What grown men and grown women, what they're going to do? They're consenting adults. Like that's such a futile position for me to take to give a damn about what these adults are doing. You know, they're trying to take your women. They're not my women. You got me fucked up. I don't know your little troll account or sock puppet account. There's no ownership. I don't have any ownership over anybody. This is a public platform. People tune in, they offer advice, they drop comments, they stay engaged, and I love them for it. I love the mulatto people who have connected with me over these past 3 years. But you're getting it real twisted saying your women. They're not my women. There's no ownership. These are adults with their own families. They're engaged members in a community. They have their own opinions. But you have a problem with black men. They are black, remember? Yeah, you're just wasting my time, troll. Okay. And I got a mulatto here in the chat, and you got a wrench. You're holding it down. So if any of these little uppity saboteurs get out of pocket, you can just use that wrench on them, get them up out of here.
y'all can't claim the word black, and in reality, y'all niggas is mixed. Y'all is mules. Okay, so this
Again, he's calling you an animal, calling you a mule, right? Which to me, I don't care what you people say. Like I have a bunch of words. I call you people everything. I don't care. You're not my people. I don't identify with you. It's just like I said, if you people complain about me being racist, it's like, okay, that's fine. You guys, you call everything racist, right? If somebody, you know, if somebody didn't put extra potato chips or whatever, if they didn't put extra French fries in your McDonald's bag, you're gonna call them racist. Have you guys heard of these stories of these hood people, black hood people, like deleting people over their French fries not being warm or their chicken not being warm? There's literally stories out here. You can go on Google and type it in. Say this black woman, black American female, deleted this Popeyes employee because their fries were cold. No shit. That's literally, there's stories out here like that in fast food restaurants with a black patron because they didn't like the service they got. Their food was cold or something. And there was like an encounter or an altercation. And they literally shot the person who worked at the fucking restaurant, the fast food. There's stories out there. So what I'm saying is like, if one of these blacks calls you racist, like they call everything racist. The legitimacy has been destroyed now. For me, what irritates me is when they got their biracial baby mamas who run up in here and want to fucking talk shit to us, to the mulattoes over here, and they're like, they're in the wrong spot. But yeah, they got their biracial baby mamas on deck to be saboteurs, to try to act like they're part of us. I don't want you representing biracial people. I'm the real biracial person, and I got fucking 50 mugshots out here. you know, fucking loser shit. Still pushing the gender war. It's pathetic.
This really is black versus mulattoes, nigga, and y'all don't want no beef. Cause y'all niggas soft.
See that he's laughing. Y'all soft. Ha 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 ha. Y'all niggas soft. You soft. Ha ha ha. You light skin, you mulattoes. Ha ha ha. Keep caping for the Bantu. Ha ha ha. You soft.
It's wet behind the ears. Okay.
This is your brothers and sisters, your dark skinned brothers and sisters. I hear you, motherfuckers. And I agree with the point you're saying, softies. Yeah, you guys are soft. You identify with this Bantu. This ain't my fucking people, homie. We're not the same. This is a mulatto centered spot over here. So I hear these people who want to claim they're mulatto or whatever, and then they're calling these motherfuckers their brothers and sisters. And this dude's punking your ass. He's telling you you're soft and shit. It couldn't be me, bro. I know you ain't talking about me, Negro. Fuck out of here. You ain't my people.
Similac, babies, okay? And you use a softie. Use a soft.
He's calling you soft, you light skinned, and you soft, you weak. Oh no, he's talking about the mixed folks, not the red bones. Oh, okay, I got it. They want to pick and choose, and they always fucking flip flop, man. Like I said, he's calling that black guy Pan-Africanism Strikes Back. He's calling him light skin, but Afro Think Tank, he's calling him a king and a brother. You let these Bantus try to pull rank on blackness because the whole like blackness conversation, have basically got that on lock. They pick and choose. And we know that with the women, with the mulatto women, they claim them as black. That's what Tariq is doing. And this guy pointed it out. Yeah, Tariq will call his mulatto partner black. That's what they do to bastardize the women, right? So they always pick and choose who they want to be black, to be subordinates in their community. This guy here, gal, it's a guy. It's just a troll, sock puppet account. Just don't get out of line so I don't have to block you. That's all I ask. You say light men are black, aren't they Bantus? Yeah, there's a YouTube channel. The guy goes by Light Skin Bantu. That's the title of his YouTube channel. Because I'm pretty sure he has the Negroid features and Bantu features, but he has lighter skin. Because we're not a skin color channel. There's some overlap with the light skin stuff, and that's when talking about this guy, this dark skin supremacist, where they'll pick and choose which light skins they're cool with. So there's overlap, but they're bringing up mixed race and mulattoes. They're calling us mules. And so there's overlap there when we're dealing with Bantus, with the whole light skin discussion. So I'll bring it up, but you said, yeah, aren't they Bantus? Yeah, you got light skin Bantus. There's a YouTube channel. Shout out to him. I've seen a couple of his videos. I don't know, he's not as like consistent or anything, but I've seen a couple of videos of that cat, light skin Bantu. And he points out some of the hypocrisies and stuff. I don't know where that dude's at. He's in Africa or something. I don't know where he's at, but yeah.
I think so I see why y'all right pick Tariq as y'all leader. Not just because of what he say, because he's soft too. See what I'm saying? Nigga lick his lips more than LL. Okay? For real. And so you niggas is busted. You busted. You busted. You niggas is just a buffer zone ism. You niggas is the mix.
The buffer zone. He says mixosphere.
Oh, fear. The mixosphere. So really, we done beat the fake ass.
It's funny because they've been punking you people talking shit for years. And it's funny, I come across some of these mulattoes who still haven't fucking figured it out yet. And they're mad at me like I'm the bad guy or something. Or it's like, man, these people have been clowning your ass for years. I'm not your enemy. Like this one guy, I encouraged him to go back to school, to get a car. The guy got a passport. I inspired this guy. He doesn't want to admit it. I inspired this guy to call himself mulatto. He hated it at first, but he calls himself mulatto now. I inspired this guy to get a passport, to get a car, to go back to school. Like I inspired this guy in so many ways. He'll never admit it. But I'm like telling this guy, like, look, he's been clout chasing me for 2 years. Like, bro, I'm not your enemy, bro. I don't care about you. I don't even know you. I'm not your enemy. But it's like these guys like this that I'm talking about on the screen here, they've been talking shit about your ass for years and you're not responding. And you look at me because I'm pointing it out, you have an issue with me because it shatters your psyche because you've identified with dark skinned Bantus your whole life. And then you come to the realization a lot of them, they hate you for existing. I don't hate you. I don't even know you. I don't care. I'm just pointing out what nobody else wants to point out. Nobody else wants to talk about it because they feel like they're going to get canceled. They're going to get harassed, which will happen in many cases for sure. But somebody has to say it.
Indians, the Moors, the Israelites, the goddamn FMA, ADOS, we done beat every group. Okay, now we Black Power reigns supreme. Cause we done busted every group. Okay, we done.
He's one of these Black Power fools, right?
Went down in y'all history and seen what y'all was about. And now that we done did this to FMA, Black Power back on top. Respect.
Black Power is back on top, yeah. Black back on top of the Popeyes chicken box, not doing a damn thing. Let me check out some of your comments here and then kind of call it an evening, 2 hours deep. Didn't even want to broadcast this, just want to hop up here. Shout out to the dude, mulatto guy, who actually shared the stream or shared the video with me. So I'm just talking about it. These ashy faced Negroes always got something slick to say. Yep. The pretty boy insult is a compliment. Exactly. Look at that fool. You want to be all crusty and musty like him? Fuck out of here. I like being a light-skinned pretty boy. Yeah, you get the bitches, you get the chicks, you get the hoes. I mean, even like your image here, I can see like, dude, guys like us, like we get the Latinas. We're good. The hottest chicks are always gonna pay us attention. We're good. Like we're not even tripping. It's a dark-skinned Bantu with the jealousy projecting. Let me guess, he's a one-dropper, isn't he? I mean, he's probably a one-dropper if it's a mulatto female. If there's a mulatta who will give him attention, all of a sudden he'll say she's black. That's what they always do. That's the game they play. They weaponize that one drop rule to pick and choose which people they want to be black and not. I just demonstrated that on the stream. I'll share right now before I move on with the comments where he said this guy right here, you see on the screen, this dark skin guy, Pan-Africanism Strikes Back, he called him light skin and said, oh, he's mixed or he ain't black. He literally called this black guy. He told this black guy and said he's not black. Look at a black guy that's standing next to the mulatto, Dr. Claude Anderson. He tried to say the black guy is not black. But then, like several minutes down the line, he turned around and he said Afro Think Tank is black. He called him a king, a kang, this guy. Look at him here. The guy who's lighter skinned, more mixed presenting, he called him black. This is the game they play. So you know damn well when there's females involved, oh yeah, he's going to one drop the females to get sexual access. And then once they turn into baby mamas, you know, and my whole thing is it's cool. They could do what they want. I don't care. But just when they come over to my channel, to my spot talking shit, it's like, do they want to get embarrassed? And then of course I embarrass them and then I'm the bad guy, right? Just they got out of line. Shout out to you. We got a pretty Creole lady in the chat. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Their vocabulary is extremely limited. Oh yeah, especially Tariq Nasheed. He's another dumb idiot. He has a very limited lexicon, Tariq Nasheed. But I guess he kind of makes it up with like the sense of humor. So he has a sense of he has good pull with social media because he adds the entertainment piece. This guy in that video sounds drunk. He's just an idiot. The guy in the video, yeah. Sounds nothing more like variation of tragic mulatto trope. Exactly, it's a trope, tragic mulatto. My point is, if he is going to say all that, cite some data exactly. Especially he's talking about self deletion or sexual perversion. He's not providing any sources. Like, how is it even accurate that we suffer from more depression? If you're a mulatto and you're surrounded by black people and or white people, these monoracial groups, I think the happiness for mulattoes is to be around other mulattoes. Now, we are still in the beginning stages of this. So you can see there's a lot of I don't want to say turmoil. There's a lot of like bumps and bruises. A lot of people like put different personalities, different opinions, men and women, femcells, incels, extremists on all ends. Like there's a lot of people trying to like navigate within the same space. So it can be difficult at first. People have to establish boundaries. Is important. There has to be a code of conduct within the community and how we mitigate situations. And it's going to be challenging, but I think ultimately for me personally, it's been really nothing but beneficial. So it just depends who you talk to. I've been noticing that their attempts at claiming gaslighting mulatto and multiracial people are no longer having the same effects as it used to. Like the delineation is in full effect. Exactly. The delineation is in full effect. It does not have the same effect. The one dropping. Exactly. You're absolutely right. Shout out to you. Chancellor Williams' anti-mulatto campaign. Yeah, they all spew the same rhetoric. Chancellor Williams. Another scholar, right? He has to rely on antiquated propaganda to stumble through trying to make a point he missed in desperation to be relevant. Yeah. Like I said, I already know this stream. I'm gonna get way more views than him, more engagement, more comments, people clowning his black ass, rightfully so, talking all this shit, calling us mules. But if we call him monkeys, he's gonna start crying. Now we know they cry about everything. Like I said, if you work at fast food and you don't even cook their chicken hot enough, they're gonna run in there crying, want to fight you. It's not even them. It's they got their bastard mulatto baby mamas who are the ones who are gonna be your biggest opposition. I don't see it from the men. I'm gonna keep it 100. If you're a mulatto man running your bitch ass over here talking that shit, you know you're gonna get fucking crushed. You come over to me. If you're mulatto and you have a white parent and a black parent, okay. I'm not talking about you, quote unquote, mixed. You got two, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about if you're mulatto. You got two mulatto parents or one white parent, one black parent. Like, I don't see the men coming over here trying that weak shit because they're gonna get crushed. So, but it's they got their baby mamas, and what they do is they pull the race card, anti-black card, and then they pull the gender card. They try to get other women to go against me, and they pull that gender card. He doesn't like mixed women. He doesn't. Blah, blah, blah. No, I love mixed women. They're the most beautiful women. They're the best women. They're my main supporters. Are mulatto women. No, but if you are a baby mama from one of these degenerate bantus and you want to come over here talking shit to gain favor from the communita, it's like you're in the wrong spot. We're gonna clown your ass over here. Fuck out of here. So I just want to check out some of your comments, and I'm gonna actually kind of end this pretty soon because I don't want to be up here all night like reading comments. I apologize, guys. I'm gonna eventually, once I get things popping, I'm gonna have the members only live streams. So I'll have the ask me anything AMAs. You guys can kind of, I'll be able to go in to read all your comments and stuff like that. But right now, it's like I just want to hop up here and share this with you guys and keep you guys informed, and then go about my way. I'll be back up here tomorrow night as well, just for as a disclaimer. Have another live stream, and But yeah, in the future, I'm like, because I'll be here up all night, man. I've done long live streams where I'm reading everyone's comment, and I love the engagement with you guys. This is what it's all about, to keep the engagement up, and I appreciate you guys with their comments. I really do. But I'd be up here for a long time reading every comment, going into detail. And but in the future, I will do that, but it'll be behind a like the AMA situation, right? This is strange to me. Why aren't they focusing on their own issues? Yeah, they got to talk about us. Yeah, like I'm saying, why can't they just focus on like their own health disparities? A lot of Black people suffer from like hypertension, high blood pressure, glaucoma, high blood sugar, diabetes. They have a lot of other medical crises that they have to address in their own community. Why don't they talk about that? Building wealth, fitness, nutrition. They're talking about mulattoes, talking shit because they want to make themselves feel better because they know they're the scum of the earth. They're the lowest class of people here in the land. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not being absolutist. I'm saying the scumbags like that black racist. I'm talking about him and his followers, people who support his message. That's who I'm talking about. They're the scum of the earth. Let me be clear. I'm not saying African Americans or all black people. I'm not broadly saying. I'm saying the people who subscribe to that Afrocentric, black racist rhetoric. They are the scum of the earth. That the guy I just referenced in the video I shared. Yeah, instead of focusing on building wealth, right, and nutrition and health, etc., he wants to call mulattoes mules, and that we got self deletion rates and sexual perversion. Like, man, get out of here. No sources. Yeah, pseudo intellect, pro whack. Yeah. You said, is that right? Are there many mulattoes? Yes, there is. I lived in Vegas for a minute. There's a lot of mulattoes out there, scattered, fragmented, as in a lot of cities in the United States. But we're still out there for sure. Definitely. Whenever someone identifies with them or not, they offer them nothing in return. Yeah, yeah. I think it only works with the biracial baby mamas to identify with them. Literally, any man, mulatto man who still identifies with them today, like you're just open to getting clowned by a guy like me. If you mind your business and do whatever you do, I don't care. But like, if you ever dare fucking challenge me, you're a mulatto man, you're a biracial man, you ever fucking challenge me, I will roast you like chicken. And you're with the black identified pro wax shit, and you have the stones to come over here. Like, yeah, because it should not even work today on these men, these males. It makes no sense. If you're a mixed man or mulatto man and you identify with that dark skinned Bantu who hates you, like, you gotta be the biggest sucker, simp, cuck out here. Like, you don't know what time it is right now. The whole national campaign they had with Drake and Kendrick, all of that was mulatto versus dark skin Bantu. If you haven't figured it out by now, 2025, I don't think I can help you out. You deserve to be clowned. Like, I've already been known this shit before the whole Not Like Us and Kendrick. I've been talking this shit for a few years. We've already come to this conclusion over here in this social media space over here. So for these newbies, like I said, if you're a dude, if you're a female, I don't care. Like, just stay out of my way, just go be a baby mama or whatever over there. But like, for the men, you better not fucking come over here challenging this shit. Don't make me build content off of you. Nothing this Bantu is saying has anything to do with the present in 2025. He's talking about our ancestors, essentially. Yeah, propaganda from 100 years ago, right? I'm not going to be able to get into all your guys' comments. I apologize, but I really appreciate you guys hopping over here and contributing to this live stream. I really do. I really appreciate you guys, especially you, Bunny. I appreciate you as a moderator holding the chat down and letting your presence be known. I really appreciate your dedication. You still a confused Bantu who needs more education on the mulatto race. Keep learning. Know or half Bantu a dark parent. And now, like I said, you want to take care of it. Let's do it offline. Do what offline? Why don't I just get you up out of here? I don't need you. You don't talk to a lot of women like that over here. So that's all I got for you guys. And yeah, I'll catch you guys pretty soon. Several hours tomorrow. I'll be back. And yeah, peace. Love you guys. And I'll see you later. Sayonara.